Atrocious conditions here, a big hailstorm before the game. And at the opening bounce, a free kick has been given away by Lawrence. And the first kick goes to Vidovic for St Kilda. He drives the ball into attack, looking for the big fella in low, and he takes an easy chest mark unattended. He kicks the ball down quickly. Lockett off the boot of Devonport, and the ball trickles over the boundary line for a throw in deep in St Kilda's forward pocket. Joining me in commentary today, Bernie Quinlan.
Yes, thanks, Jared. Atrocious conditions here, real wet weather day. Tony Lockett doing the ruck work in the forward pocket against Lawrence. Lockett wins a tap out. Bowie, quick hand pass, looking for Kickett. Tied up there by Langford. The umpire, I think, will bounce this one. Big Stewie Lowe, a great mark. Great start by St Kilda. They dominated in their first round clash. St Kilda kicking 8 goals on that occasion.
Lockett in the ruck, takes the ball, could have been infringed upon, no free kicks. They'll be hard to get here. McGuinness gets the ball out. Austin McCrabb on to Jarman. Jarman round the corner with the left foot. The ball's high, Lowe's underneath it. Punched to ground by Mew. Bowie in pursuit. He's brought to the ground by Mew, but gets an intelligent left-hand handball to Winmar. Winmar with a floating left-hand handball goes to Dwyer, who was nearly decapitated. And the free kick will finally be paid to that player in Dwyer.
He was in doubt, Jared. He had a cork thigh, as you can see, that left thigh heavily bandaged. He did kick 2 goals last week, Mick Dwyer. Hasn't had a lot of football senior level this season.
Well, from 50 metres out, he goes for the torpedo punt. It's a pretty good-looking kick off the boot. Doesn't quite make the distance, however. Mew picks the ball up and floats one forward, but goes over the line and out in the full, and Nathan Burke will kick it back into play for St Kilda.
Burke to take this kick from about 60 metres out. Goes for the short pass, looking for and finding Russell Morris. Ben Allen late on the scene. The crowd appealing for 50 metres, nothing doing. Very crowded St Kilda forward line at the moment. Russell Morris playing a different role in the last couple of weeks. Playing as a loose man more. He did very well last week against West Coast Eagles. Looking for the lead from Tony Lockett or Stewie Lowe. Lowe on the lead. And Stewie Lowe takes a fine chest mark down low. And we'll have this shot from about 45 metres out, just marking that spot in front.
No pun intended, of course,
no
there,
pun
Bernie.
intended, of course, Jared, but Stewie Lowe, how do they stop this player? He's been averaging 10 marks per match, the best mark in the AFL competition at the moment. Chris Mew, a very big job on his hands today. Lowe coming in for this kick, very deliberate in his approach. Chris Mew on the mark. There's the kick, a poor kick off the boot from Stewie Lowe. And only one behind, the first score of the match being registered by St Kilda. But already 2 marks to Stewie Lowe, as I said, averaging 10 marks a game. And Chris Mew, he really carved him up the first time they met this season.
Chris Langford goes to short option to Ben Allen. Allen on Dwyer. Perhaps there's a tag being applied there. Morris from behind punches it. Well read there by Collins. Coming out from the back pocket, kicks the ball over the line. Collins appears to be given the job on kick it. And he is one of the great one-on-one players in this competition. Jarman does the ruck work, but Vidovic gets it out easily to Bowie. Morris taken too high. Advantage played now, over the back of hands. Devonport at the back, it's a poor kick, goes straight up in the air. No advantage to St Kilda. A left-hand bounce, however, and it's bounced through for a goal. Unbelievable goal to Craig Devonport. It slewed off the side of the boot, but got a fortuitous leg break. And Chris Langford stood in amazement as the ball trickled through for a major.
Yes, good goal there to Devonport. St Kilda 1 goal, 1-7, leading the Hawthorn side yet to score. And Devonport straight back into this side after serving a 2-week suspension for a tripping offence. Umpire Kennedy bounces the ball. Vidovic in the best position, looking for Bowie. He might get a free kick. Harvey, advantage not paid. The ball going back to Brett Bowie to take this kick for St Kilda in the centre of the ground. Looking for Stewie Lowe on the lead. No, he ignores that and will go long. Very crowded forward line for St Kilda. Nathan Burke in front, almost a very good mark. It could be a push out. It has been paid. Looking to play on quickly, Burke. Tony Lockett on the lead. Out in front of Langford and Lockett almost. He's been paid the mark. Big Tony Lockett, 98 goals for the season. Jason Dunstall, the other full forward, at the other end of the ground, has kicked 107 goals for the season, so things getting pretty tight in that contest. Tony Lockett, this for number 99. Should be a good contest, that one, between Langford and Tony Lockett, two big strong players. From about 50 metres, Tony Lockett for number 99. Out to the right. They won't get the distance, I don't think. No, off the hands, kick it. A flying shot at goal, and only one behind to the Saints.
So it's all St Kilda at the present time. They lead 1-2-8. Hawthorn yet to register a score. In fact, they haven't got the ball in their 50-metre zone. Surprised to see Platten lining up in the forward pocket at the present time. Gilbert McAdam is picking him up, and Pritchard, one of their other big ball winners, is also up there. Kick out now from Langford. Good mark there taken by Morrissey. He just chips the ball. Oh, poor kick. It just finds its target there in Jenke, and Jenke goes across the ground. He's the exciting player in Jarman. What a skilled man this one is. Chips the ball to Platten. He takes a diving mark, getting himself muddied for the first time this afternoon. Once again, another chip kick. Pritchard couldn't control it, and Daniels just helps it over the boundary line. The crowd appeal for deliberate, but nothing doing, and a throw-in will take place just outside the attacking 50 for Hawthorn. Deer and Vidovic. Bowie once again doing well. Taken away by Morrissey. Around the corner, it'll be Dunstall on the burst. Can he get there? No, he stopped. Takes the ball well, however. The left-hand handball wasn't good. McAdam on the ground. Platten once again. Was he scragged? Was there a free kick? No, a ball up will take place. Dennis Rich signals for the ball. 30 metres out from Hawthorn's goal.
Throw up, there's Deer and Vidovic again. Contesting Daniels, very good last week off the ground. Good wet weather play. Nathan Burke in front. And Jarman comes in tight. He's up a kick off the ground. And he'll be happy to see this one over. No, Bowie keeps it in. Good play by Bowie. It's a hand pass to Harvey. Away go the Saints, back to Bowie. A long kick, good wet weather football. Direct football into that forward line. Here's the exciting kick it. And Andy Collins doing his best to tie things up. Stewie Lowe gets a hand pass away, but there's a free kick being awarded for a throw. And against Tony Lockett, the free kick going to Langford.
It's good play from Chris Langford. The kick isn't a special one, however, but that mark was. What a terrific exhibition of marking one hand. A modern-day talent. Jarman does it to perfection. Free kick paid. Deer takes the ball now, swings under his left foot, goes to centre half forward. At the back of the pack is Hall. Hall looking for Dunstall once again. He props. That's two I thought he could have gone and taken down low. But the St Kilda captain in Frawley takes the ball to the boundary line. Doesn't go over, however. And Tim Pekin emerges with it. Short kick from Pekin once again looking for Winmar, but Hall takes it off the hands. Centre half forward was Deer, who was infringed. No free kick once again. Vidovic doing well in the first quarter. Kicks the ball to space. Vidovic with 3 possessions early in the piece and a number of tap-outs. And a free kick now here is paid against Scott McGuinness for pushing the back to Devonport.
As Craig Devonport played every game until he was suspended from half-back. Looking for Mickey Dwyer, can't take the mark. Ben Allen off the ground. This is Bowie. Around the corner very quickly into that forward line. And Stewie Lowe, his 3rd mark for the afternoon. He went to play on. He is called to play on, looking for Tony Lockett now. In front, can't take the mark, thumped away by Langford. And Hawthorn safely out of defence. This is Jarman. Best on the ground last week against North Melbourne. Clears it out in front of the members' grandstand. Tony Hall could have been held there by Ralph Smith. In fact, the umpires awarded that free kick. And Tony Hall will take this free kick right in front of the members' stand.
Hall kicks the ball looking for Brereton. Brereton lets one go behind play. And he's infringed against Shanahan, taking him too high. And good decision, Dennis Rich.
Shanahan played a magnificent game against Dermot Brereton when they met the first time this year down at Moorabbin.
Well, Shanahan goes straight towards the corridor. Vidovic drops what he should have taken, lets him down. This is Hawthorn on a roll now. Poor handball, however, from Allen. Dwyer taken too high, and Brereton certainly throwing his weight around. He's given 50 metres away.
Well, that's silly from Dermot Brereton. He'd given the free kick away, fair enough, but then he dropped into Mickey Dwyer, put the knees into him, and Hawthorn working very hard to get the ball onto that forward line. It's really disappointing to see the forwards give it away so easily.
Well, he's obviously pumped up, Dermot. This is a huge game, a lot riding on it. Hawthorn need the points, as do St Kilda. If Hawthorn loses, all of a sudden their season or their finals aspirations are almost in doubt. McGuinness picks the ball up. He's a left footer and uses it well. Goes up the centre. Well, it looked like a good kick, but it didn't find its target. Vidovic, cross half back, takes it again. Daniels on to Rel Smith. Rel Smith rides the bump well, gives it to Morris, who's loose. Morris goes straight towards the centre. Is this Plugger? Couldn't take it. Good battle. Devonport should have taken that one and scored. He fumbled at the crucial moment and was taken over the boundary line by Collins.
There's a bit of a chance there, half a chance there for Craig Devonport. The Hawks with a tough run in front of them. Essendon next week, Collingwood the week after. Langford trying to burst out of the pack, kick it also, tackled by Andy Collins. And the umpire calls for a ball up. Tony Lockett doing the ruck work in that forward line up against Stephen Lawrence. Neither player getting a hand of the ball. And there's a free kick being awarded out of that contest. And I think that would go to Lawrence against Tony Lockett for a ruck infringement. Steve Lawrence out of the back pocket. Goes further afield, finds Chris Langford. Transfers play, keeping it around that outer flank, but there's Lazar Vidovic taking the easy chest mark.
He goes towards centre half forward. Once again, an ill-directed kick. Darren Jarman floating across the back takes an easy mark. Poor kick from Jarman. Goes off the side of the boot. Even the guns can make errors. Platten takes the ball. Well, I thought that went out. Kicks it back towards St Kilda. Rel Smith now moves it on to Dwyer. Dwyer motors through the slush. His kick's ordinary, however, and Mew drops what it should have been an easy mark for such an experienced player.
Now, was that awarded a mark, Jared, or was that a free kick against...
Well, it certainly shouldn't have been a mark.
It wasn't a mark, there's no doubt about that.
So it was probably one for high tackle. Collins goes on to McGuinness once again with plenty of space on that outer wing. It's a little bit drier than this one here on the members. Gets more sun on it. McDonald should have taken that. Poor chest mark. Conditions atrocious here. The rain becoming heavier. The wind is favouring the end left of screen, probably to about 2 goals. But as that ball gets heavier, it will have less effect. Devonport to the centre. Lowe couldn't take it. Bowie overruns it. Jarman with a scrubber kick. Over to Harvey. Just gets his kick in time and fires Winmar. He lines up the goals from the 50-metre line. He just keeps it low. Will it roll through? No, just to the left of the goals and over and out of bounds.
Well, missed everything, Nicky Winmar. A bit of a chance there, 50 metres. Great game last week against West Coast Eagles. He's been picked up by Alex McDonald. Playing more as an attacking player. Has been used at half-back throughout the season. Lawrence over the top. Bowie in front, off the ground there by Jenke. Mickey Dwyer, a bit of a chance there. A scramble out of the back line by Ben Allen on the left boot. Winmar again, gets around on his left side, and there's a very clever pass finding Robert Harvey. Harvey again moves it on very quickly. Dwyer, and Dwyer takes a mark about 40 metres from goal. St Kilda doing most of the attacking in this first quarter. Mickey Dwyer, as you can see, that left thigh heavily bandaged. Having this shot, he will be kicking from about 40 metres out with a heavy ball. Good kick off the boot from Mick Dwyer. And I think he's kicked it, yes, a goal to St Kilda. That goal coming from the boot of Mark Dwyer, and Hawthorn yet to score. St Kilda 2-2-14. A very good start. We've still got 12 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Danny Frawley did win the toss and kick to left of screen, and as Jared said, probably a 2-goal advantage to that end of the ground.
Ball back in the centre now. Vidovic and Lawrence. Lawrence gets a tap, gets it to McDonald. Off the ground went Pritchard. He's been moved in to give Hawthorn some run on the ball. Dwyer, who kicked the last goal, gets it forward for St Kilda again. It's been all St Kilda this quarter. A free kick has been paid against Mew and will go to the big man in Lowe. And Lowe really has had the better of this duel early in the piece, Bernie.
Already 3 centre clearances to St Kilda, none to Hawthorn.
Low looking for Lockett. Well, Langford slipped, as did Lockett, but perhaps he can make amends. He tries to barge his way through a number of players. The umpire lets it go as Jenke clears it for Hawthorn. Pritchard goes to ground. Look at the slush over on that side of the ground. It's incredibly heavy. It's going to be a very tough task for players to keep running by game's end. Tim Pekin will take the free kick.
He was led by Gowers there, Jared. Very heavy conditions on that side of the ground also.
Now he should be putting this to the top of the square. That he does. Low and Lockett. Platten finally roving the ball well. Uses his pace and chips a kick nicely to Allen. They're running the ball out of the back line well, Hawthorn, but they're breaking down across half forward. Fine mark there from Grant, I think it is, who's covered over in the mud. And Deere makes him earn every kick that he has received today. Grant once again along to the forward line looking for Lowe. He's got two players, Lawrence dropping back, giving Mew some support. Off the ground went Mew out to Pritchard. Pritchard on to Jarman, who's had now 8 possessions. Grant and Deere once again. Look at the slush in the mud. Tough conditions, and that is a very tough free kick to be paid under those conditions.
Well, he was tackled from behind. The momentum with Winmar. It's a very, well, one of the grey areas, I suppose, Jared. The player who's tackled from behind. It's either a holding the ball or in the back decision. The umpire awarding that one to Winmar in the wettest position on the ground.
Well, as long as they're consistent today, Bernie, there'll be no arguments from me.
Exactly. Nathan Burke trying to feed it out to Dwyer. Hawthorn able to tie it up here. Lawrence, clever play by the big bloke. Around his body on the left boot, looking for Gower. Gower also a quick kick. High ball there. Morris can't take the mark. Jarman doing very well early in this match. Getting it into the forward line. Very wide open forward line for Hawthorn. Dunstall can't take possession. Frawley, St Kilda skipper gets it away to Daniels. Away goes St Kilda, clearing out of the back line. Gowers in the best position here to take possession, but he can't kick it off the ground, misses it completely. Well pressured there by Tim Pekin, as Ralph Smith can't take it off the ground and eventually forced over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Well, I thought this game was always going to be decided in the middle. Both sides have got outstanding forward lines. Hawthorn with Dunstall, Brereton and Hall, and St Kilda with Lockett, Lowe and Winmar really equalise each other. So it's the centre of the ground where this game will be won. St Kilda have been dominant so far. Poor kick from Allen finds Harvey. Once again he dropped what he should have taken. Grant now punches the ball forward. Morrissey onto McAdam. McAdam just trickles the ball over the boundary line. Deep into attack for Hawthorn.
I think today, Jared, we can excuse players for dropping seemingly easy marks because conditions very greasy out there. The ball very heavy towards the end of the quarter.
Yes, there'll be a new ball at the end of each quarter, at the beginning of each quarter. Jarman on the left boot. Once again, the kick astray, out in the full. So we have seen a lot of skill errors, drop marks, kicks off the side of the boot, but as Bernie says, very tough conditions for the players. Frawley brings St Kilda back into attack. Winmar was pushed out of it behind play. Morrissey taken too high. McCrabb tries to barge through, so does Platten. Morrissey once again, who just hands the ball over to McCrabb. McCrabb round the corner, but this man's playing well, Bernie. Vidovic.
He did well last week also, Jared. Dropping back, helping Frawley out in defence.
Oh, terrific mark there by Allen. Took the kick from Vidovic. And perhaps Hawthorn can set something up here. Brereton leads, which gives Dunstall free space. They're playing a full forward line. Ball drops fortunately there for Dunstall, couldn't take it. McAdam comes through. Harvey was pushed in the back by Jarman. Very willing play at the present time as the St Kilda captain kicks it clear for the Saints.
There's good clearing play by Danny Frawley, going for the safety of the boundary line. He finds that. Then run over there by Gowers, his opponent there, Tim Pekin, who also played very well last week for St Kilda. He cut out a very dangerous player in Peter Matera. A tap out by Big Vidovic, taken by Gowers around the corner, and Jarman in everything early in this match. 20 minutes into the quarter, and Jarman coming in for his 11th kick. That was his 4th mark. And Darren Jarman, well, he could even be a little bit of a tip for the Brownlow this year, Jared, the way he's been going.
A big tip, I think, Bernie. Him
a
and
big
Platten
tip
for Hawthorn.
Yes, for sure. Darren Jarman only from about 30 metres out. Kicks, and kicks truly. Hawthorn's first goal. Hawthorn 1 goal straight, 6 behinds, trailing St Kilda 2-2-14. They've had trouble getting that ball into the forward line there, but Jarman has been magnificent in this first quarter. Playing as a midfielder, as is Nicky Winmar, but Winmar's being picked up by Alex McDonald. And now it looks like Jarman could be changing with Johnny Platten, as McAdam is now picking up Darren Jarman. But, well, it's been a good start, been tough football from both sides, nothing coming easily. And he's showing his class today, Darren Jarman, the dazzling Darren Jarman in everything.
Ball back in the centre. Just under 7 minutes of play remaining as Vidovic gets it away. The centre clearance is a 3-Love. Now it's 3-1-1 coming back to Hawthorn. Off the ground when Jarman had kicked the last major. Bowie in pursuit. Can he pick up the greasy ball? He did it well. The left-hand handball wasn't so good, but it falls in front of Grant. He gets it round the corner looking for Harvey. Good punch away there from Hawthorn. Through comes Hall. He's been a little bit quiet at a couple of touches. Pritchard off the ground. Allen barging through. Well, the umpire, no, he lets it go. Good decision from the umpire. McAdam was taken over the shoulder. And finally, the umpire comes in to ball it up.
Yes, that's one of the heavy areas of the ground there. Gilbert McAdam in a different role, playing as a back pocket player.
Hayden Kennedy elects to throw the ball up. We'll see a lot of those today. St Kilda doing well from every ruck contest. Bowie takes it away, gives it to Morris. Morris drives it long. Devonport couldn't hold it, but Lockett's come out a long way from goal. Does well getting a handball to kick it. Kick it lines up the goals from 45 metres. The Saints crowd like it. A goal. Well done, Dale Kickett, and also Tony Lockett to get that ball from below shin level up to the running Kickett. And he just set his sights on the goal and converted well.
Yes, good play by the big bloke Tony Lockett on the lead there, getting the ball out, using his body well. And Kickett, who's been a very handy pickup in the 92 March draft, picked up at number 38. And he's played every game since then for St Kilda. Bounce down again in the centre. Vidovic up against Lawrence. Lawrence with the knee up early. This is Daniels, gets a hand pass to Grant. That kick smothered off the boot. Off the ground goes Lawrence. Jarman, the backhand hand pass, a little bit suspect. Looking for the run of Pritchard. Good shepherding there behind play by Ben Allen. High into the forward line, Tony Hall. And Tony Hall takes that mark about 40 metres from goal. Wearing the silks today too, Jared, Tony Hall.
Yes, he's got the jockey silks on for sure.
This is no certainty with the heavy ball from this distance, from about 45 metres out. A kick from Hall. Looks good off the boot. Close. Could be touched on the boundary line. No, it's through. A goal to Hawthorn. They're second. So the Hawks hit back 2 goals straight, 12. Trailing St Kilda 3 goals to 20. So an 8-point advantage at the moment to St Kilda. Very evenly matched, 2 very evenly matched teams here. Tony Hall, a champion on that forward line for Hawthorn. Can he take a mark?
Dennis Ritz puts ball to ground. Doesn't get it up very high. There's a bit of water there in the middle of the ground. Devonport with the ball now. St Kilda another clearance out of the centre, but only as far as the 50-metre line. And Pritchard sends it back into attack for Hawthorn. McAdam flicks the ball out to Winmar. St Kilda players wearing the black armbands. Short kick finds Morris. Pretty lucky one. Well, that could have been a reversal of free kick. Undisciplined play from Morris. There was no need for it.
No, the umpire, McDonald too close to the player when he was about to take his kick, Jared. He must be, without giving a player a chance to take that free kick. McDonald right on the spot. Good decision there.
Well, I can't agree with that one. I thought Morris made a beeline for the Hawthorn player, Bernie. That's the beauty of football, though.
Yep, that's fine. Kick it, a fine mark in the forward line. Strong mark with that greasy ball. From just outside the 50-metre line, a long kick by Dale Kickett. And just touched on the goal line there by Chris Mew. I thought there could have been a better effort at shepherding there by the St Kilda player. Maybe Devonport could have put his body in and kept Mew out of that contest.
Certainly did give that ball a ride, however. So perhaps there is a fair advantage going down that way to the end to which St Kilda's kicking. We'll know more at half-time. Kick intended for Lawrence. He brings the ball to ground. Collins gives him support. Sidesteps beautifully but puts Pritchard under pressure. Off the ground went Pritchard. That'll be an important kick today. And players diving on the ball. No room for the faint-hearted in the tackles and clinches today.
Stacks on the mill there, Jared. About 8 players diving in there for that ball in front of the members' grandstand.
Once again, a throw in the air. Vidovic grabbed here by the jumper. No penalty, however. Pritchard slides in, as does Dwyer. A lot of players using their knees as landing gear this afternoon.
Look at the stats for Jarman, Jared. He's had 4 marks, coming in for his 12th kick, well, the hand pass this time. And so many possessions. Finds Morrissey. And also looking for Dunstall. Dunstall can't take the mark. Frawley harassing him off the ground. Austin McCrabb. And this will probably trickle over the boundary line. Hawthorn's right forward pocket. Very tough for the full forwards today. Privileged to see 2 of the best full forwards. Well, the 2 best full forwards in the competition. Dunstall at one end, Tony Lockett the other. Grant over the top, gets a punch away. Palmed on by Dermot Brereton to Morrissey. Goal to Hawthorn. Three goals straight, Hawthorn. Trailing St Kilda now by only 3 behinds. St Kilda 3-3-21. Good play there, David Grant doing the ruck work for St Kilda over the top. Dermot Brereton didn't try to take possession. Just palmed it out there to James Morrissey. And a quick snap around his body. And an excellent goal to the Hawks.
The ruckman go at it again. Lawrence jumps early. Couldn't pick the ball up, but he flicks it well out to Allen. Hawthorn clear a ball down the corridor. Off the ground went Shanahan. Comes out nicely now to Dwyer. Dwyer with a right foot kick. Bowie's got plenty of space. If he can control this, he can run. And that he does. He's looking up forward. He goes over the head of Stuart Lowe. Dropping back was Lockett, couldn't take it. He can't get near a goal at the present time. Harvey handballs it quickly to kick it. Kick it on to Burke. Burke will go off the ground. A smart kick gives it to Lowe. Lowe round the corner goes to Bowie. He's kicked that about 30 metres. An infringement down behind play, and it's played against Lockett. A free kick will be taken by that player in Langford.
Not too happy about that. Tony Lockett appealing for the free kick, saying that Langford held his Guernsey. Long kick out of defence by Chris Langford. Stewie Lowe can't take the mark. Morrissey evades a tackle. Gowers hand pass on to Lawrence, and Mew eventually gets the kick away. Cross landing inside the boundary line. And over, just slightly in St Kilda's forward line. Dermot Brereton a long way up the ground.
Bernie, I noticed the Hawthorn crowd cheered the last time they got a free kick. At the present time, St Kilda have got 15 free kicks. Hawthorn only 6. So there is a little bit of a disparity there.
Ben Allen quickly around his body. Nothing much happening in the ball across the boundary line for another throw in. Things pretty tight though, Jared. This really is the start of a really tough run for the Hawks. Essendon next week, Collingwood. A slight let up with Richmond, then a bye, then Melbourne in their last game of the year. So they've got 3 very tough games, the Hawks. Off the ground there by Nathan Burke, the quick kick. McGuinness charges his way through. Long hand pass. Lawrence, the tap on. A lot of pressure here. Pekin eventually gets his boot to the ball into the St Kilda forward line. The only player there, Chris Mew, taking the safe mark.
Mew looks to come across the ground, ignores that option. Goes safety first. Platten over the back with the fly, couldn't control it. As the siren goes at quarter time, where both sides had good patches in a tight quarter. St Kilda lead 3-3-21 to Hawthorn, 3 goals straight.
Start proceedings in the second quarter. Throws the ball up. Vidovic up against Lawrence. Vidovic up early with the knee. Gets a tap out. Off the ground by Russell Morris. Good wet weather football. Although the sun's shining brightly here at Waverley Park at the moment. Nathan Burke likewise off the ground. Chris Mew goes for the tap on. Kick off the ground by Stewie Lowe. This will probably run over the boundary line. St Kilda, that's good play. They didn't go for anything fancy. Just forcing the ball gaining valuable meterage. Boundary throw in. Stuart Lowe doing the ruck work against Lawrence. Lawrence takes it out of the air. In front, McDonald will get that free kick. Winmar infringing. And passes on quickly to McGuinness, looking for Morrissey. Morrissey off his head, clever mark. Few soccer skills there by Morrissey. Bad hand pass though. Not finding McGuinness. Brereton off the ground. Vidovic. Long hand pass, can't find a teammate. This is McCrabb over the ball, finally taken by Deere. And that could be a free kick. No, play on called. Ben Allen on his left boot into the forward line, looking for maybe Dunstall. Can't get there. Closely attended by Frawley. And heavy work by Dermot Brereton behind play on Frawley. This is Johnny Platten. Can he do something with it? Hand pass, not finding Morrissey. This will be a ball up or a free kick. A player over the ball, awarded against Ralph Smith. Not trying to get rid of it.
Yes, well, I wonder if the free kicks are leaving themselves up by half-time, Bernie. Looked a little bit suspect, that one. Paul Deere looks towards Brereton at centre-half forward. Jarman once again, brilliant early. The kick not so. Round the corner and out in the full.
Great stats though, Jared. 12 kicks to Jarman, 4 marks and 2 hand passes.
Yes, and he doesn't waste too many. However, that one was a bit of a waste. And St Kilda will bring this ball back into attack as Jarman just casually plods along looking for another possession. Morris, long drop punt. That'll be the kick of choice today. On the ground was McDonald, who knocks the ball forward. Gowers gets the ball once again to Jarman. Best on the ground at the present time. The drop punt looking for Dunstall. He goes early. Over the back is Morrissey, who took it pretty casually and hit the woodwork with the soccer style attempted goal. Thought he could have taken that in his hands, Bernie.
Yeah, no doubt, Jared. The two players there, Tony Hall, maybe a lack of talk there, but either player had plenty of time, the ball spilling over the back. But, of course, in a situation like that, players not to know that there's a lack of pressure there, and Morrissey just going for, well, maybe he thought he was being closely attended.
Yes, well, that was Hawthorn's first minor for the day. They're 3-1. Off the ground went Grant, round the corner to Harvey. Bowie once again. He's had plenty of possessions, but that was well tackled behind play by Jarman. Through comes Bowie again, starting something for St Kilda. Where's the runners? Harvey finds Lowe. He's turning around. Lockett with plenty of space. Straight up the middle of the ground he leads. Where's the big fella? There he is, out in front. What a terrific pass and a great mark. Dwyer says, kick the ball long, Tony. I've got some space. And he doesn't let him down with a magnificent one-arm grab.
That is a great mark, Jared, wasn't it?
Like Rodney Mars, he threw the left-hand mid out and it stuck.
I thought maybe he could have even shepherded that one through, allowing Tony Lockett to get his 99th, but I suppose in a situation like that, you're not too sure of where you are in relation to the goal face. That was a terrific mark. Of course, a new ball being used every quarter here at Waverley Park.
Mark Dwyer for his second goal of the afternoon comes in, no mistake. St Kilda get the first goal in the second quarter, which is a great start. The one I'm sure Ken Sheldon asked for. They lead now 4-3 to 3-1.
That was really copybook football by the Saints. Firstly, Stewie Lowe on the lead. Tony Lockett also on the lead. The two big St Kilda forwards combining there very well. Tony Lockett, a strong mark out in front of his face there. Closely attended by Chris Langford, and Mick Dwyer finishing it off. Terrific mark, one-handed in the goal square. Throw up again in the centre. Vidovic and Lawrence. Lawrence doesn't look at the ball. Play on, the advantage called. The free kick was to be paid against Lawrence, and Stewie Lowe takes his 5th mark, giving Chris Mew the run around. Tony Lockett in the forward pocket. Can he take this? Yes, no. Play on. Nathan Burke tidies up Winmar. The clever Winmar kicks a goal for the Saints. St Kilda 2 early goals at the start of this second quarter, 5-3-33. And they lead Hawthorn 3-1-19. 2 very handy goals. A great mark from Mick Dwyer for the first goal in this second quarter. And then Winmar, great game last week, probably best on the ground against the West Coast Eagles. Tony Lockett leading well and the small players tidying up. Winmar, opportunistic goal.
Centre bounce once again. Vidovic gets his hand on it, brings the ball to Harvey. Harvey flicks it out, but Morrissey comes forward now. Deere throws that ball out to Jarman, and that's how it's being called. And Jarman gives the ball back to St Kilda's Bowie. Probably be a little bit tough. There's been a lot of those scoops paid already today. Devonport doing well, back from suspension, gets it out to Pekin. Pekin runs forward, looking for the big man in low. And Bucket's low drags down another one. Pekin runs on well. He shoots for goal from 45 metres. Lockett drops back and takes an excellent mark. And Tony points the finger and says, that's where I took it, umpire. This will be number 99.
Well, the Saints on fire, Jared. Terrific start to this second quarter. 6 1/4 minutes into the term, and already the Saints really starting to assert their authority. Tony Lockett lining up with what should be St Kilda's third for the term and the 6th for the match.
Well, he's been impressive to date, Lockett, without kicking a goal. He handballed one off to kick it in the first quarter, which resulted in a major. He was then involved in the first one this quarter, a long, quick kick into the ground, into the forward line, which saw Dwyer get a goal. So it's time now for the big fella to get one for himself. From 4 metres out, an absolute soda for the champion full forward. Well, the umpire moved heavily to his right, but it's a goal. St Kilda career away now. They lead 6-3. 39 to Hawthorn 3-1-19.
Yes, and that's Tony Lockett's 99th goal for the season. A terrific player. He will obviously top the century for the 3rd time in his career. And the Saints have kicked 3 goals in the last 3 minutes. It's been all one-way traffic out of the centre square as Vidovic does battle against Lawrence. This is Pekin in front. Over the ball, taps it on to Harvey. Harvey gets a quick hand pass away to Grant. Around his body into that forward line, looking for Winmar. Oh, terrific mark, Winmar. Handball's on quickly. Devonport, 50 metres out, looking for and finding Lockett. Tony Lockett out in front. Terrific place in Kilda. And Tony Lockett has his mark. Only 30 metres out, slight angle. Coming in for goal number 100 for 1992. The big bloke. Has he been impressive today? He's marked everything, used his body well, and coming in for his 3rd century of goals in AFL, VFL football. Tony Lockett.
The ground announcer has asked the crowd to stay back. Do you think they've got a chance, Bernie?
No hope. I think they might be out there patting him on the back if he kicks this one, Tony Lockett. 30 metres. The umpire doesn't move. It's a goal to the big St Kilda forward, 100.
And here come the St Kilda fans careering onto the ground from all parts, north, south, east and west. And they're running towards their superhero, the big fella Tony Lockett, who has played a terrific game so far this afternoon and has finally reached that ton. Bernie, you've done it yourself. What would he be feeling?
Yes, well, he'd be feeling pretty elated, I think, at the moment. Of course, he's done it on a couple of occasions before, so it's nothing new to Tony Lockett, but he's been a fantastic full forward for the Saints. Look at the side there, he's just a magnificent player. So much bulk on his body, he just gets in the way up against a quality opponent today in Chris Langford. And look at that scoreline, 7-3-45 St Kilda, and the Hawks 3-1-19. So it's been awesome Kilda at the start of this second quarter, and this will hold up play for some time, Jared.
Yes, well, Tony Lockett's kicked 757 career goals. He's averaging 4.8 in his 157 games. It's an outstanding achievement, Bernie.
Yes, he won the Coleman medal in 87 with 117 goals, and also in 91 with 127 goals. He's also won the Brownlow medal in 87, and he's been the leading goal kicker at St Kilda on 7 occasions. And no doubt he'll win it again this year. Stewie Lowe the next best with around about 40 goals. It's a tremendous record, isn't it, for the big fella? Well,
his statistics do stack up with the greats of the game. At the other end, of course, you've got Jason Dunstall, who is yet to kick a goal in this game.
So both full forwards we're watching here today, Jared, they've kicked 100 goals on 3 occasions, both full forwards. So that's
good to see Chris Langford shaking hands with Tony Lockett. He is a great sportsman, Langford.
Well, they would have played on each other on many occasions.
And with each other, I guess, for Victoria also.
Exactly.
So it's good to see a little bit of sportsmanship, but I'm sure the next time the ball comes down that Langford will be going 100% hard to restrict the big fella.
So the crowd eventually being removed from the ground. There was no hope. I think that announcer wasted his breath, didn't he there, Gerard?
Well, it was like trying to keep back the tide, I think.
Exactly, exactly. Look at that scoreline though. The Saints careering away. A big advantage to the Saints. 7 goals, 3 straight kicking also.
They did do this in the first quarter when they kicked a couple of early ones and Hawthorn fought back. So it remains to be seen. And it appears like a new ball has been brought out onto the ground, Bernie.
Yes, I think someone souvenired that one. They've put it in there.
Perhaps Tony Lockett's got it up his jumper.
That's a bit unkind. Well, I think we're just about ready to recommence. Congratulations, Tony Lockett. The throw up again. Vidovic gets the tap down. Nothing happening here at centre. Finally, Morrissey. Quick hand pass out to Gowers. This is McAdam. Andy Collins in front. McAdam playing in a back pocket role today. Over the ball, tackled by Jarman. I think this will be a bounce down or probably a throw up there, Gerard. There's pretty soft conditions here at Waverley. Yes,
well, it appears that somebody has souvenired that ball. It looks like a pretty new one that Hayden Kennedy throws in the air. The tap forward, McDonald off the ground. Dunstall trying to get a piece of the goal-kicking action. He's been well held by Foley to date. Through comes Gowers with the shepherd. It puts Dunstall into space. Well done, Foley. Forces him to the boundary line. Dunstall's kick comes back into play, but it'll be tapped over the boundary line next to the point post as the umpire indicates.
He did pretty well there, Jason Dunstall, getting around, restricted pretty much by Danny Frawley, but he did well to get his boot to it.
Deere takes it out of the ruck, was looking to score a goal. Rel Smith in there. Here's Jarman. Been brilliant today so far.
This could be... Well, is that a free kick for a trip?
Well, the Hawthorn crowd were appealing.
No, nothing doing.
They still trail 9 free kicks to 18 to St Kilda. Perhaps you could argue St Kilda are in under the packs, deserving them. Tap out favours St Kilda's Pekin. He couldn't control it. Dunstall tries to get one out of the air. Grant's pushed to the ground. Harvey gets it quickly to Burke. The umpire's plucked out a free kick. It's going St Kilda's way once again. I didn't see what it was for.
I think it was for a throw, Gerard.
Yeah, but Harvey had the ball and he's receiving the free kick.
Well, it's got me baffled as well. I thought the free kick was being paid against St Kilda.
Well, that ball was touched mid-flight, so play on was called. Shanahan gets it to Burke. There's a scrap on behind play. Bowers with the ball. Left foot kick finds Devonport. Players still fighting behind players. Devonport with space. Taps the ball to the ground. He's doing as he pleases. Hawthorn pressure isn't enough.
Ordinary kick in the end, Gerard. He should have gone long because Lowe was surrounded there. Hawthorn relieved through Jenke. Around the outer wing, Platten in front of Bowie. We'll get there first. Harvey did very well diving in. Could have been awarded a free kick. Tremendous stuff by Harvey. Ends up with Devonport. He's tackled by Collins. Bowie spins away from that tackle from Tony Hall. Oh, Russell Morris just took his eye off it at the last moment there. Didn't take that mark. Both Hawthorn players doing the shepherding there. Gowers and Lawrence eventually ends up with Morrissey. Oh, that's a hard tackle. Is it against Vidovic? No, play on. Ben Allen 60 metres out, goes for goal. But he's missed to the right. One behind to Hawthorn.
Hawthorn's first score for the quarter. Second score for the quarter. 2 points only. And once again, Jason Dunstall has been ignored. They're kicking the ball over his head, but they're not getting the majors. Frawley brings the ball back in for St Kilda. Good kick goes over the 50. Rel Smith finds Harvey, who's been brilliant. Harvey onto McAdam. McAdam draws a player and goes over again to the running Daniels. The redhead from St Kilda. Great game last week. Poor kick, however, today. McGuinness at the back of the pack. Handball to the voice, but the voice was Daniels. Didn't go anywhere for Hawthorn. From Lowe onto Winmar. Winmar round the corner to Dwyer. St Kilda doing as they pleases. As Dwyer gives it to Kickett. He runs straight to the goals. He was in 2 minds. and his kick was such that it missed the goals, only behind Bernie. He should have just run and kicked it straight through the middle.
Yeah, it's a disappointing finish there, Jared, but St Kilda doing it well, getting into that forward line. You could see kick it on a number of occasions, a couple of times. Didn't know whether to go for Tony Lockett or whether to go for goal. Langford straight down the middle, looking for Lawrence. Gowers over the back. Russell Morris recovers first. He goes directly for goal, looking for Tony Lockett. Well, a good mark there, chipping in Austin McCrabb. Former Geelong player, picked up in the draft for the Hawks. He relieves the pressure. There's a couple of Hawthorn players out there. Ben Allen takes the mark. He can give it off to Platten. He does that. The outer wing. Platten looking for Collins. Playing a different role on the forward line, Andy Collins. There's a real goer. High kick into that forward line. Looking for Dunstall, but he's outpointed there by the St Kilda skipper, Danny Frawley. Terrific chest mark, and Dunstall still kickless with 14 minutes remaining in this second quarter. There's Vidovic. Good strong mark for Vidovic. Pritchard appealing for a shepherd, nothing doing. Vidovic from half back. Looking for Bowie, a little bit too strong for him. This is Bowie, gets rid of it quickly and then is tackled. McGuinness off the ground. Ben Allen, he's been good for Hawthorn. Tackled well by Winmar. Very well tackled. Mick Dwyer gets it over to Harvey. There's a run on Devonport. Can he get around McCrabb? He can't. This is Bowie. Or kick it over the top of the ball. Taken by Lawrence.
Winmar applies plenty of physical pressure there, but to no avail. Platten comes into it now with a long kick forward. Finally Dunstall out on the burst. Gets the handball there to that player in Hall. Hall handballs blindly. It wasn't good. Brereton's been quiet. Hall once again flicks it out to the champion Brereton. Can this be a goal for Hawthorn? He ducks back onto his right foot, lines up the goals. No mistake this time. And boy, did Hawthorn need that one. How many times is it left to either Brereton or Dunstall to get Hawthorn back into the game?
Yes, well, they really did need that. There's been all one-way traffic. Just under 13 minutes remaining on the clock. Dermot Brereton, the team-lifting goal there for the Hawks. They really do rely on those two key forwards, Brereton and, of course, the champion, Jason Dunstall, playing at full forward. He's been well held today. He hasn't had many opportunities. Dermot chipping in with a very timely goal. The ball up again, Vidovic up against Lawrence again. Lawrence stayed on the ground, gets a left-hand tap away. Morrissey off the ground, and Dermot again on his hands and knees. Sliding chest mark. 60 metres from goal. Looking for something on the forward line, taking his time. Nothing happening at the moment. And goes for the very short kick. And finds Ray Jenke down from the back line. Jenke will be shooting for goal from around about 50 metres, maybe just outside the 50-metre line. 2 marks, 4 kicks, 1 hand pass today for Ray Jenke.
This would be a big kicker if he could put this through.
Yes, I wouldn't have my money on him from that distance, I don't think, Jared, but a good kick off the boot. But just slightly to the right for another behind to the Hawks. So 4-3 Hawthorn, trailing St Kilda 7-4, 27 plays 46.
Yes, well, Danny Frawley will bring it back in for St Kilda once again. He's had the better of the duel between Dunstall and himself. The skipper for St Kilda leading from the front, as always. Comes to the members' side. Looking for Vidovic, and he goes up unattended. But a poor handball, telegraphed it too much. Now, that was an interesting one. I thought that McAdam had his clenched fist, his fist clenched, I should say. But a throw has been paid. The ball is bombed into the forward line from the boot of Jarman. But once again, only a behind. Well, it's amazing, Bernie. Hawthorn have got one of the great full forwards down there. They seem to be ignoring him every time.
They're blazing away. That's something to do, I think, with the pressure that's being applied by the Saints. They've been terrific in the crunches. Haven't had a lot of time to steady and really look for Jason Dunstall. The kick in coming from Frawley. Over the back is Brereton. Vidovic again going for the hand pass. Again missing his target. Platten off the ground. Harvey hand passing again, missing the target also. This is Lawrence on the left boot. Looking for Hall. He used his body well. That's fended off Sean Ralph-Smith. Too far out. Looking this time. Looking for Andy Collins, but the kick not good. And chipping in from behind Nathan Burke. This could be 50. But it is in fact too physical there, Andy Collins. Just a little bit exuberant. Just held him up for too long, Nathan Burke. He's been a magnificent contributor for the Saints all year. He's played in every game for St Kilda. Coming in for his 7th kick. Touched off the boot there, not a good kick, too close to the man on the mark, taken by Jarman. Left foot kick quickly into the forward line. That beats both Frawley and Dunstall. Andy Collins cleverly taps it back. That could be a free kick, although he did duck his head, Frawley. No play on. Vidovic quickly off the boot, but again poor disposal by Vidovic. A couple of ordinary hand passes. And that kick hitting Pritchard right on the chest.
Yes, the ball slewed from Vidovic's hand as he put it to boot. It's always going to be a lucky kick if it found its target. Really, the players must concentrate with a slippery ball, the way they place the ball down onto their foot. Pritchard seems to fancy himself from just outside the attacking 50. Gets a run up, launches the ball. It's a pretty good kick off the boot. I think it's found its target. It has. Darren Pritchard gets his first goal for the afternoon. Hawthorn's 5th. And they're starting to mount some sort of challenge. They now only trail by 12 points. Hawthorn 5-4, St Kilda 7-4.
Yes, well, very similar to that first quarter, Jared, as you said. The Saints getting away out of the blocks very quickly, and then Hawthorn working very hard to tag them back. There's Pritchard, the player who kicked that goal, his first goal for the afternoon and his 11th goal for the season. He's played in 3 premierships, a very experienced player recruited from Sandy Bay in Tasmania.
Hawthorn's kicked the last 2 goals, Brereton and Pritchard. They've fought back well now. It's up to St Kilda to mount the challenge. Ball out of the centre, Jarman once again. Coming in for kick number 16. Round the corner. Players appealing for out on the full, but the umpire says no, we'll throw that ball in.
Good defensive work there by Sean Ralph-Smith. Nothing's happened behind the play. I think it's against Brereton. Here he goes over remonstrating with the umpire. McAdam to take the free kick. Dermott, you must be more disciplined in that forward line.
That's the 3rd undisciplined kick he's given away. McAdam comes through for the...
And it's 50 metres for running over the mark, Dermott. So you've given 100 metres away to the Saints, which is pretty poor stuff by the Hawk. 2 50-metre penalties have been paid against him already, and we're only halfway through the 2nd quarter. The mark taken by Lawrence, transfers it quickly to Chris Mew. Jarman off the ground. This is Gowers, hand pass to McGuinness. Good play by the Hawks. Direct play here required. Goes straight down the ground. Transferred play very quickly from defence into attack. This is Dunstall. Is he getting a free kick for it? Yes, he is. A holding free kick paid against Jamie Shanahan. He's been pretty quiet today. A lack of opportunities for Jason Dunstall. He's only kicked 3 goals in the last 2 weeks. Pretty quiet last week, only 1 goal against North Melbourne, well held by Mick Martin, and 2 goals the previous week against Carlton. So Jason Dunstall has already kicked his 3rd century of goals, on 107 for the season, coming in for goal number 108. Should be almost a certainty from this distance, about 25-30 metres out, slight angle, very deliberate in his approach. Oh, I think he's pulled it to the left. He has only 1 behind for the Hawks. A disappointing finish there from Dunstall. So 5-5-35, the Hawks trailing the Saints by 11 points, 7-4-46.
Yes, well, an interesting time in this game. Very similar to the first quarter, where St Kilda forged ahead early and Hawthorn fought back. Almost deja vu in the 2nd term. Shanahan at the back, and Lawrence. Bowie once again. Bowie's had plenty of the football, nearly 20 possessions, as has that man in Jarman. Plenty of wrestling allows the ball to go over the boundary line. I'm sure that Frawley's pleased with that result.
Bit of strength there, Jared. Dunstall and Frawley, body on body. 2 of the strongest players playing the game.
Yes, both got very strong legs. Deer and Vidovic. Deer attempts to bring it to their attacking side. Grant round the corner, smothered well by Platten. Ralph Smith playing well, brings the ball onto the left side, kicks it to space. It's a foot race now. McDonald goes to ground on Winmar. He's tightened up a little bit on Winmar. He's died in his effectiveness in this late in this quarter. with just over 7 minutes of play remaining.
Yes, Winmar's stats not all that impressive today. 2 marks, 4 kicks and 2 hand passes. So McDonald has been given the job, a big job on Nicky Winmar, and doing it pretty well.
Throw in, sees Vidovic take it easily. He's doing well on the ruck, Jules. Bowie once again, submarine handball from Harvey finds Daniels. Devonport seems to be able to find some space. His kick's a shocker, however, but Jenke couldn't take advantage of it. Mew does well in front. Pritchard runs into the brick wall in big Stewie Lowe, and he's given away the free kick. Well, I thought that he led with his head there, Pritchard, so a little bit lucky. Didn't think there was any malice in the low tackle. Allen on the left foot, a floater, a mongrel, a poor kick. Beacon takes the ball, kicks it into the bog. Some mud wrestling required here. Picked up there by Lawrence. Well, almost picks it up, flicks it over the boundary line. Was it deliberate, Bernie?
No, they should have done better there, really, because Gowers was calling for Lawrence to come in and pick up the ball. He was supplying the shepherding behind play. And there was 2-on-1, and they messed it up, the Hawks. Boundary throw in, Platten first to recover. Goes long directly towards Dunstall and Frawley. Frawley gets a hand to it, knocks it towards the boundary line. Good defensive play by the St Kilda skipper. Andy Frawley has been skipper since 1987. A very tough player to play on, Danny Frawley. He knows how to scrag a full forward out of the game. Boundary throw in. Deer up against Vidovic, Hall over the back. This will be a bounce down again. I think that's Burton at the bottom of the pack there, tied up by a couple of St Kilda defenders, David Grant and Jamie Shanahan. Umpire, I think, will throw this up as he does. Vidovic up against Deer. Morrissey over the top, taken by Burton. His kick smothered. Nothing much happening here. Collins, he slips. Morrissey, can he do the freakish thing again? He can. Oh, Tony Hall just rushed through from behind for the Saints. Tony Hall couldn't let that one go through, Jared.
Yes, it was, well, it was going to depend on the bounce, Bernie. It was almost bowled LBW there, but it didn't bounce off his leg and ricochet the right direction, which allowed the St Kilda players to rush it through. We saw an incident like this last week where an own goal was paid up in Sydney. Plenty of pressure was there on the umpire. Fortunately, he made the right decision. Gilbert McAdam takes the kick from Frawley. Quickly plays on. A poor kick, however. Looks like he's pinpointed a pass to Morrissey, who does well with the left-hand handball onto Allen. Allen with plenty of time. He drops back. At the back of the pack is Hall.
Was it a push-out? No, it's being awarded, Jared. I thought there could have been a push-out against Tony Hall.
Well, I think he did apply the arms to the St Kilda player in Frawley, who then in turn pushed Dunstall out of the play.
Yes, but Tony Hall, the instigator there. I
thought
the umpire may have spotted that one.
From 5 metres out. The umpire looks towards the sky and signals a goal. Tony Hall kicks his second goal for the afternoon. St Kilda are creeping well back into this game. They trail now by only 4 points, despite the fact that I think St Kilda have been the far more dominant side on the day.
Just looking at the paper on the ground though, Jared, that is definitely favouring the end to which the Hawks are kicking. Tony Hall 2 goals. Mark Dwyer's kicked 2 goals for St Kilda, as has Tony Lockett. Throw up again, Vidovic against Lawrence once again. Morrissey tries to go off the ground. Very tight in close, eventually out to Daniels. He goes direct, looking for Stewie Lowe. Not a well-directed kick though, and Chris Mew is able to chip in and take a very safe chest mark.
At the centre wing now, Jenke fumbles the ball but does take the mark. Sprints away quickly, looking for Platten at the front. Oh, good score from behind from Berg. Round the corner was Jarman, looking for Dunstall. He hasn't had a good pass today, Dunstall.
What about those stats already for Jarman, Jared? 4 marks, 18 kicks and 2 hand passes, so 20 possessions there. And we've still got 4 1/4 minutes remaining on the clock.
Yes, he's been a terrific player for Hawthorn. Deer takes the front spot. Brereton couldn't handle the slippery pig. Platten goes to ground. Burke with the armadillo-type protection. Flicks the ball back in. Pekin, he wants the boundary line. He throws it over the boundary line.
Dermot
a free kick.
Very heavy from Dermot Brereton there, Jared, and late. after Pekin was very happy to see that one go over the boundary line.
Well, if you were Coach Bernie, would you be having words with Brereton at half-time?
Well, I think I'd be telling him to just tone things down a little bit, Jared.
Just settle it a little bit. I think you're right. Kicked an important goal not long ago. Devonport takes the ball off Winmar's hands. Morris has got plenty of run. Will he tap the ball to the ground? Experienced player looking up forward, kicks the ball. The one-on-one battle between Lockett and Langford. An excellent play from Austin McCrabb, comes back and intercepts with a fine mark.
McCrabb goes long. Torpedo kick wobbles off the boot. And Bowie chipping in, taking a safe chest mark. Bowie's stats very good also. 8 kicks and 13 hand passes. That's terrific stats. Coming up to half-time, McAdam goes for the short chip pass and finds Mickey Dwyer about 40 metres from goal on a slight angle. He's already kicked 2 goals, coming in for goal number 3. Will be kicking from about 45 metres out. Ray Jenke on the mark for the Hawks. Here's Mickey Dwyer, very deliberate in his approach. Close to the man on the mark. He's made the distance okay. Accuracy good. Goal to St.Kilda.
Well, I thought Ray Jenke, if he had have jumped a bit higher than Bernie, could have even touched that one, because it was very close to the man on the mark.
Very close there, Dwyer, but he got good distance off the boot very nicely. So back to that 10-point advantage. 8-4 St Kilda, 6-6 Hawthorn, 42 plays 52. And Mick Dwyer has been very dangerous on that forward line with those 3 goals.
Dennis Rich elects to throw the ball up in the centre of the ground, which doesn't happen often. Morrissey with the ball. Tips the ball looking for Platten, who's giving Hawthorn some run up the forward line. It's been a good battle. Probably Burke had the better of that duel at the present time. Round the corner looking for Hall. Frawley puts his body over the ball. Dunstall flicks it back into play. Good play, finds Deere. Deere chips the ball. McDonald goes to ground in front of Winmar. Morrissey just chips it nicely there for Jarman, and in he goes, and goals. Darren Jarman, he's having a picnic here at Waverley this afternoon. 19 kicks, 2 handballs, and 2 goals, 1. He's been an exceptional player, Bernie.
Yes, and back to that 4-point margin. Nothing in this. A great contest between 2 very evenly matched sides. I think the St Kilda defenders will be ruining the fact that the ball didn't go out of bounds over there on the outer halfback area, with Danny Frawley in the position to maybe just tap it over the boundary line. But the Hawks were, well, they did pretty well to keep it in play and set up that goal there to Jarman. Vidovic and Lawrence once again. They both jump early. What a decisive knockdown. Morrissey off the ground looking for Ben Allen. A tap on from Allen. Andrew Collins, the Hawks on fire at the moment. He's tackled by McAdam. Could be a free kick. In fact, it has been awarded. 60 metres from goal. Andrew Collins moves the ball on quickly, looking forward. Dunstall down low. Can't take the mark. And this will probably be hurried. No. Thought it would have been hurried over the boundary line. Good tackle there by Dunstall on Frawley. Morrissey tackled there by Burke. Hand pass out, finding Bowie. He gets around the Hawthorn forward, and a good pass. No. Mickey Dwyer just waiting back there. McGuinness chipping in, transferring play to Jarman.
Stephen Lawrence says to Jarman, settle, champ, you're under some pressure. Chick kick there is a poor one, finds Winmar. Winmar's only had 4 kicks and he won't get another one. Good tackle from Hawthorn. Pritchard. Players really rise to the occasion now. There's plenty at stake here, perhaps a finals berth. Devonport sidesteps and goes up the middle. Morris is up centre half forward. Takes a good mark. Stuart Lowe is here on the half forward flank. Peakins all alone. He's got Devonport in support. Devonport looking for Lockett. And great strength from Lockett. Got rid of Langford, enabling him to take a good chest mark 35 metres from goal. Almost directly in front.
Yes, well transferred there from Russell Morris. He took a good mark, just getting rid of Jenke. I thought he may have messed it up there, trying to get that hand pass over to Pekin. Took a long time, but Craig Devonport supplying the run and the assistance, and eventually finding Tony Lockett.
Well, the big boy's kicked 2 for the afternoon. He's kicked 100 for the season. Perhaps he's got the record in sight. 50. You'd need the finals to make it as the siren goes. Lockett needs his kick now. And St.Kilda need the goal. 30 metres out, directly in front. Stewie Lowe claps it in the middle of the goals. Another goal to Tony Lockett. So second half here, both teams may really look to this half to say their season went up or down, depending on the result here. Platten off the ground. McCrabb comes through, as does Morrissey. Round the corner went Vidovic, who was excellent in the first quarter. So was this bloke, Dwyer. Gives it to the young champion in Harvey, and he rolls one through for an early goal to St.Kilda. Robert Harvey gets the early goal on the board for St.Kilda, and Hawthorn now trail by 16 points.
Well, that took 25 seconds in the second half to register that goal to the Saints. Robert Harvey, the young champion St Kilda on-ball player. Good work from Vidovic in the centre also. He's been very aggressive at those centre bounces up against Steve Lawrence. Vidovic again up against Lawrence. Gets a left hand tap down to Bowie. Back to Vidovic on the left boot. McCrabb gets the punch away. Lawrence, a hand pass to nowhere. And a free kick being awarded to the Saints, to Bowie. Not too happy the Hawks about that one, but Bowie still inside the centre square, going direct, looking for Tony Lockett or Stuart Lowe. It doesn't matter. I think the nudge out being awarded against Lowe. A free kick being taken there for the Hawks by Austin McCrabb.
Bowie and Jarman running stride for stride. Both have had 20-plus possessions in the first half, that played wide of each other earlier in the game as Deere takes a mark for Hawthorn. Allen moves the ball forward for Hawthorn into a flock of seagulls. McAdam couldn't take the mark. A pack of players jump on the ball in very heavy conditions, as you can see.
Anderson on for the Hawks too, Jared. He sat on the bench right throughout that first half. And they do need to lift the Hawks around the on-ball players, and Anderson can do just that.
Yes, obviously brought on to give the Hawks a little bit more run. Off the ground went Allen. Almost hit Dennis Rich on the boot. Could have been his first kick in football, but Morrissey with it now onto the left foot. A new football goes long to the square. A poor kick once again ignored Dunstall, and Frawley sees the ball over the boundary line. I can't believe, Bernie, the amount of times that Dunstall has been ignored.
Yes, well, surprisingly, he hasn't kicked a goal again today, Jason Dunstall. He's had a poor return the last couple of weeks. Only one goal last week against North Melbourne. Brereton trying to get it off the ground. Morrissey eventually getting the left boot to it, and through for a behind to the Hawks. A good start by St Kilda. They lead 10-4-64 to the Hawks 7-7-49. St Kilda skipper Danny Frawley to bring it back into play. Opting for the zone defence, the Hawks, as Frawley kicks in, going directly down the middle of the ground. Travels 60 metres. Vidovic in front takes a very strong mark. No competition there from Steve Lawrence, and a good kick also from Vidovic, finding Sean Ralph Smith. Away he goes. Gets around Platten. Very low pass. Very effective in the end. Finds Bowie. Off to Ralph Smith again. Left-hand hand pass. Good running football by the Saints. Daniels inside the 50 metres, but lets himself down with a pretty poor kick there, and the Hawthorn defenders happy to see that one over the boundary line for a rush behind, or is it a free kick?
I think, Bernie.
And it's free kick to be taken by Chris Mew. He relieves the pressure out to that outer side of the ground. Over the back, Pritchard can't take the mark. And Daniels will be, oh, that's a throw, surely. Yes, the umpire picked that one up, no doubt. An obvious scoop there by Jason Daniels.
Yes, Pritchard brings the ball back forward for Hawthorn. McDonald at the front takes the fly, couldn't bring it to the ground. Anderson gets his first possession for the afternoon. Lawrence can't control the ball. He struggled in the heavy conditions today, Lawrence. Vidovic having the better of the ruck duels. Winmar, who's also been quiet, gets a kick early and finds Stuart Lowe, who's playing in front.
7 marks to big Stewie Lowe. He's averaging 10 marks a match, so well on target to take 10 again today.
Chips the kick to Pekin, who ran with the flight of the ball, creating some space. And he'll have a shot from goal on a pretty tight angle. only 30 metres out.
He's worked pretty hard also, hasn't he, Jura, today, Tim Pekin? He's been a terrific player for the Saints since transferring from Fitzroy. Been around a fair while now, Tim Pekin. Started in 1984.
He's kicked 4 goals for the season. Not prolific by any means. From 30 metres out, the umpire ran a long way to his left, indicating only behind. So St Kilda moves slightly ahead. They lead now 10-5 to 7-7. And once again have started the quarter full of running. They've done it in the first, second and now the third quarters.
Long kick in there from Langford. Stewie Lowe doing the groundwork this time. He's been good in the air. Poor kick though. Chopped off by Platten. Looking for the danger man, Jarman. He's been terrific today, coming in for kick number 21. Out in front of Deere. He gathers it beautifully. Out in front of David Grant. Back to Jarman. Good running football by the Hawks. This kick will find Dunstall, yes. On a long lead, Dunstall takes a very good diving chest mark just outside the 50-metre line. Too far to score, too far out to score. Looking for Dermot Brereton up against Shanahan. Good play by Shanahan. Harvey tidies up. Long hand pass to McAdam, and who will relieve the pressure for the Saints.
McAdam goes to the outer wing and finds Burke, who has been tailing Platten most of the afternoon. On to Daniels, the redhead, who's involved in that first goal to Harvey. Harvey gets a push in the back, but Daniels gets his kick long. Devonport could have taken it. He's been in and out of the game, but done quite well for St Kilda. Kick it. Takes the ball away from his teammate Lowe. Keeps the ball in play too. Hugs the boundary line. Collins wraps him up and gives away a free kick, taking Kickett just slightly too high. A little bit unfortunate, but certainly the free kick there.
Yes, I think he ducked his head there, Kickett, and maybe Andrew Collins a little bit unlucky. Harvey takes this kick into the forward line, looking for Stewie Lowe, almost takes the mark. Chris Mew over the top, Lawrence with the hand pass to McCrabb. A good smother there by Devonport, forcing the boundary throw-in, but good pressure by the St Kilda forwards. They've worked pretty hard to tie that up. About 30 metres around from goal on the outer side. Stewie Lowe doing the ruck work for the Saints against Lawrence. Lawrence uses his body well, but then hand passes straight to Craig Devonport. Dwyer, he's already kicked 3 goals, and from an impossible angle kicks that one out of bounds on the full.
Yes, it was almost a fatal blue there by Lawrence.
He's looked a little bit unsure of himself today, Big Steve Lawrence. It hasn't been one of his better games.
Chris Mew brings the ball back. The long driving kick. Once again, Lawrence not finding the mark. The mark taken by Vidovic. On to Harvey. Harvey a chip kick. Finds Russell Morris, who's played the last quarter and the start of this third quarter up on the forward line. And really has provided another avenue to goal for St Kilda.
Yes, he kicked 2 goals last week for the Saints. Been used in a different role. He's been a good player, runner, third in the best and fairest last year, playing at centre half back for St Kilda.
From right on the 50-metre zone. Morris goes long and direct and straight as a die. Good goal to Russell Morris. St Kilda kicked their 11th. 11-5, plays 7-7.
Yes, one behind only to the Hawthorn in the second half. Russell Morris, a very good deliberate kick from 50 metres. And St Kilda again out of the blocks very quickly, as they have been in the first and the second quarters, doing the bulk of the attacking. Vidovic again favoured by the throw up there. Pritchard takes it, but tackled quickly by Daniels. He ties him up. The umpire says that'll be mine, and we'll throw the ball up again. The 2 big men have gone against each other all day. Lawrence using his body better on that occasion. Gets a tap down. Morrissey hand passing to himself, looking for Dunstall out very wide on the lead. Indirect football by the Hawks. Nathan Burke, he's caught by Platten. Good pressure by Johnny Platten there, but I think this will be another ball up. No doubt about that. Dermot Brereton, who's been pretty physical this afternoon, has given away a couple of 50-metre penalties and has played really undisciplined football on that forward line. It's good to see him being physical, but not giving away ridiculous free kicks. A quick kick away there by Deere, and that'll be a free kick again against Dermot Brereton. The player with his head over the ball, Gilbert McAdam. The crowd don't like it, but an obvious free kick there. If a player's down, picking up the ball with his head low. Well, it is definitely a free kick, Jared, and Dermott really, he's just been too undisciplined in that forward line.
McAdam goes down the middle of the ground off fine mark from Pekin. Allen used the body but didn't knock Pekin off the ball. Harvey once again, 22 possessions now to Harvey, over to Devonport. Grab round the throat, but Daniels appears with the ball. Bowey's got 35 metres. He can bounce the ball, but he kicks it over the head of. Well, I didn't like the option, but it could work out for St Kilda. No, dropping back and knocking it over the boundary line was Chris Langford. Well, Bowie could have run 35 metres and kicked a clear goal. Then he kicked it over the Lockett head to nobody, and really just a wasted opportunity, Bernie.
Yes, well, they did have a big chance there, the Saints, but Tony Hall down on the back line there gets the pass off to Lawrence. Again, not hitting his target, but Jarman coming in for kick number 23 around that outer wing. And Dermott Brereton this time has been awarded the mark or the free kick.
I think it was the free for the push in the back.
The free for in the back, but Dermott, that's better. Get in front and go for the ball. He's been far too physical in that forward line, just giving away silly free kicks. Winmar, quick kick away. Good play there by Winmar. Into that very soft part of the ground. Shanahan there first. Was that a scoop off? No. Good play by Shanahan. Harvey, long hand pass, hits Jarman.
Harvey down behind play. Bernie once again, that player in Brereton.
Oh, well, this is just getting ridiculous. Dermott so many times has given away that advantage, any advantages the Hawks may have. Bowie, quick chip pass there, finding Daniels. Very soft part of the ground there. Daniels going for the short pass and finding Vidovic. 65 metres out, Jared.
Getting very black here. The umbrellas have just gone up. Rain is starting to pour again as St Kilda go forward. Dwyer at the bottom of the pack in the gutter. This time it's Lockett who roves it round the corner, but he's kicked it too far. And only one behind. Well, it was like a rover, the big fella. Turned like a ballerina, which is not a bad feat for a man of his size. We couldn't quite find the goalpost.
He's pretty quick over those first 5 metres, Jared, isn't he? The big bloke. He's supposedly around about 115 kilos.
Let's just say he's big.
Well, he's a big boy.
Chris Langford comes to the members' wing. McGuinness, McCrabb at the front takes an easy overhead mark. Hall supplies the option. Dropping back was Pritchard, who's spoiled well by Daniels. Pekin gets it nicely there to Ralph Smith, who's had a pretty good game. Harvey, who's had an exceptional game, goes wide to Bowie, who's also been a pretty good player for St Kilda.
Coming in for kick number 14, he's had 15 hand passes, Jared. He's been in everything.
Certainly has. Over to Dwyer. Russell Morris first to the ball. He picks it up and sprints away from McGuinness. Over there to McAdam, who's down on the forward line from 45 metres out. I think it's home. Give us the two fingers, umpire. Good goal to Gilbert McAdam. St Kilda career away, 12-7 to 7-7.
Well, this is terrific stuff by the Saints, and they've opened up a 5-goal advantage at the 13-minute mark of the third quarter. Gilbert McAdam has been a very effective player the last 2 weeks, playing on the back line. Great goal that time. Vidovic jumps early, gets a left-handed tap down to Bowie. A quick kick. Vidovic again, maybe a free kick, no interference paid. Forced forward, McAdam, the player who kicked that last goal for St Kilda, gets a hand pass only as far as McCrabb. It's a high kick, a quick kick into that forward line. The Saints tidy up through Morris. Oh, Dermott Brereton again, very physical. Shanahan gets a long kick away, the clearing kick, and a great mark by Dale. Kick it up very high. He can move it on quickly. The clear player there all by himself is Devonport. If he gets clear, he can kick this. But no, I think he's missed to the left. What an opportunity that. The Saints doing all the attacking though. A couple of players out there. Devonport one, I think Bowie was the other. A couple of options.
Hawthorn back into attack. McCrabb sits underneath it. Could have almost been paid the mark. Devonport emerges with it. Bowie once again gets another handball. Collins comes down to the ground, but Dwyer picks the ball up. He'll come round onto the left foot. Straight up in the air it goes. It doesn't get much distance even though it goes straight up. Stewart low. Thunder starting to clap here at Waverley. Gets a short chip kick. Devonport runs in. Unbelievable. Well, should he have gone back and kicked it?
I was just about to say, why play on in that situation? He wasn't sure of the player or aware of what was around him. He could have gone back, would have been having that kick from no more than 12 metres out. In the meantime, McGuinness, member side of the ground from the kick in. And it could be a free kick against Grant to be taken by Paul Deere. He must go back over the mark. In the very soft part of the ground in front of the members' grandstand. Paul Deere playing at centre-half forward for Hawthorn. Gets the kick away, falls short, and fortunately Anderson in front for the Hawks. They're doing things a little bit slowly though into that forward line, Hawthorn. Thump away, big thump away by the St.Kilda defenders. McAdam first to recover. Good play by McAdam, then misses with the hand pass, taken by Platten. Pritchard, quick kick away. And Sean Ralph-Smith, no pressure there, long kick into the forward line. Devonport again will take this chest mark.
Yes, can he make amends for an easy missed goal just only 10 seconds ago? Straight down the middle, looking for the big fella in Lockett. Does he go up the ground? He's got Kickett in support. He swings around but goes to ground. This will be magical if he puts it home. But it goes across the face of goal, running a minor.
Well, a few opportunities have gone begging here in the last couple of minutes for the Saints. A couple of chances to Devonport, and that one to Kickett. He did well to get in there and provide the chance for that St.Kilda goal, but good tackling there by the the Hawthorn defenders as rain starts to tumble down at Waverley Park.
Straight down the middle goes Langford. Bowie at the back of the pack. Daniels round the corner. Devonport again throws out the one arm. Morris goes to the top of the square. Lockett and Langford. At the back of the pack was Lockett. Couldn't take it. Infringes against Collins. Must be a free kick. Sorry, Tony, it was certainly there as Collins sprints away with the advantage. Handball there from McGuinness. Allen and Dwyer. Allen keeps the ball going Hawthorn's way with good play. Vidovic gave away the free kick. Advantage is paid. Off the ground went Scott McGuinness once again. And finally over the boundary line. And a throw in just St. Kilda's advantage of centre wing.
Well, Jared, that's an instance where really the advantage should not have been paid because there was no advantage whatsoever to the Hawks. It was a ball that was in dispute. The umpire calling play on, advantage paid.
Yes, could have been better off just going back and having his free kick as St. Kilda emerged with it once again through the agency of Pekin. On to Burke. Once again, Devonport. Boy, he can find some space. He's been on his own numerous occasions. Kicks it over the head of Tony Lockett. Was he going for goal? If so, I think he was picking the wrong option. Should have gone for Lockett.
He's had plenty of the ball, Jared, in this third quarter, and he's wasted it, though. 3 behinds for the term to Devonport.
Just could have kicked a couple.
And it's kicking from Langford. Courageous mark by Andy Collins. Up against Winmar in late. And he's feeling the effects of that heavy knock. Winmar has been pretty quiet today. Had nearly 40 possessions last week. 6 kicks and 3 hand passes today only for Winmar. Lawrence can't take the mark, recovers pretty well, and not sure what to do with it. Platten in front, closely attended by Nathan Burke, and this should be a ball up. Well done by the St. Kilda players there. Nathan Burke, he's had a terrific season.
He's one of the real goers of St. Kilda. He's a terrific tagger, did well in the State of Origin games. Harvey emerges with the ball, only as far as Collins. Collins, left-hand handball to McCrabb. Over the head of 2 St. Kilda players, Jason Daniels. Daniels handball to Harvey. Harvey ducks back onto the right foot, looking there for Pekin, but it goes over his head. And once again, a battle with Collins. Kick it off the ground. Stewart Lowe puts his body over the ball, takes possession and gets it to Kickett. Kickett with a sweeping handball finds Devonport, who swings it onto the boot. This is a classic goal from Dwyer. Unfortunately, it wasn't a goal. Threw the boot at it. I thought it was going to roll between the posts, but just got a leg break and went over the point post line.
I thought that may have been a chance to roll through had Mick Dwyer let that go, Jared. That kick coming from Devonport. He's missed a few easy ones in this third quarter. Almost kicked the impossible one.
Very rare to see a forward let him go from a yard out, Bernie. You know all about that.
Come on. I always used to shepherd it through. Langford brings the ball back, straight down the centre of the ground. Looking for Lawrence. Vidovic at the back, going for the punch away. A dangerous kick in this. Oh, good blind turn there by Devonport. Again, he's missed to the right. He had plenty of the ball in this third quarter. 15 kicks to Devonport and 5 hand passes.
Well, that was a Morris Rioli type blind turn.
Yeah, terrific play, but it was kick 4 behinds for the quarter.
Well, Langford's getting plenty of kicks in from behind. Sure, he'd like to see the ball up the other end of the ground. St Kilda's kicked the first 3 goals of this term. They kicked the first 4 in the second term. Great mark from Burke with a fine interception. Moves it on quickly to Pekin. Pekin straight down the middle. This time he's looking for Lockett, but can't find the yardage. Dropping back is McCrabb. McCrabb kicks an up and under. Puts Platten under plenty of pressure. Oh, soft free kick for mine. Platten on the receiving end. Given away by Devonport. Johnny Platten been a little bit quiet, only 12 possessions. He's been unlucky in that he's had Nathan Burke following him around everywhere. Not an enviable task. Jenke on to Morrissey. Morrissey looks for Brereton. Brereton makes a lead. Ball slews a little bit left. Hall throws up one arm. Shanahan, who's done well today. Winmar tackled by Allen. No free kick. Kick off the ground finds Jarman. He knows where the ball's going. This time he's taken a fine mark. And only 30 metres out from goal. Should ignore leads, go back and kick it straight through the middle.
Yes, and do they know this, Jared? The margin 36 points at the moment. 12-13-85 to the Saints. 7-7-49 Hawthorn.
The Jarman kicked their first goal for the afternoon. In he comes, directly in front. St.Kilda fans are pretty pleased with the result, straight out in the full.
Well, you would have expected a lot better from 35 metres. Darren Jarman, exceptional skills. McAdam takes the chest mark from that kick from Danny Frawley, the St Kilda skipper. Left back pocket, member side of the ground. McAdam centering the ball and looking for David Grant or Russell Morris at the back there. Nearly took the mark. He scoops that out, looking for Morrissey over the top. This is Jarman again. He'll be better on the left foot on the run. What can he do this time? Hit the post. Well, almost. So the Hawks now wasting the opportunities. 2 chances to Jarman. They've gone astray. Frawley brings the ball back into play, favouring the outer side of the ground. Harvey let that go. And there's a free kick, a shepherding free kick. Paid, I think, this time against Jarman. A free to be taken by Sean Ralph Smith. On the 50-metre line defensive side. Kicks for the centre. Vidovic, very good mark. He's been excellent today. That's his 9th mark. He's had 12 kicks and 8 hand passes and 16 hit-outs. Well on top of Steve Lawrence.
Platten in the bog. Kickett comes up with it. Kicks it round the corner. Dwyer knocks it on. Gets it to Ralph Smith, who roved it well. Long sweeping handball to Devonport. Gets his knickers exposed round the corner with a great goal. Was Sean Ralph Smith. So St.Kilda kicked their 13th. They've in fact kicked 4 goals, 9 this quarter, and lead Hawthorn by 41 points.
Yes, well, they've opened up a big margin. 10 points difference at half-time. They held onto the ball a fair while there, Devonport, before finally getting it off to Ralph Smith. Again, Vidovic. This time against Deer. I think Hawthorn have recognised that Vidovic has been pretty damaging in that centre square. A good mark by Jarman, plays on quickly. This time, no, he's missed to the right again. 3 opportunities to Darren Jarman. He was very accurate last week, kicked very accurately, but today cannot find the target. Frawley, outer side of the ground. McAdam, Brereton can't take the mark. Rove well there by Pritchard onto the left boot, and Tony Hall 40 metres out from goal. A long way out, probably too far, going for the short pass and finding Ray Jenke.
Jenke goes for goal from 40 metres out. It's a high ball, pretty accurate. Dunstall underneath it. Almost took the mark, but well done by Shanahan to knock it through. Hasn't been Dunstall's day, Bernie.
Well, he did all the hard work there, Jared. He worked his way to the front. The body-on-body work he did well against Frawley, and then put down a mark that you would probably expect him to take.
So they've kicked 4 points for the quarter, Hawthorn. To St Kilda's 4 goals 9. At the back of the pack with a big fly, Jamie Shanahan played his first senior game this year and really is developing as a player. Peakin now with the ball. A left foot round the corner once again. Stewie Lowe comes charging out, takes McCrabb to the ground. Vidovic coming through with some muscle and bustle. Off the ground went Anderson. Ralph Smith dropping back once again. It sits favourably for him. He chips the ball through to Daniels. Daniels traps it well and gives it to McAdam. Boundary umpire wants a piece of the action. Good knock on finds Daniels once again, but the handball was poor. Austin McCrabb kicks it forward for Hawthorn. Steve Lawrence appears to have been shifted to centre half forward. Morrissey gets pushed in the back and must take a free kick.
Ben Allen in very late there. He better be careful, or there'll be 50 metres against him.
Added quite a bit of interest after the play.
Morris, slightly to the defensive side of the 50-metre square. A long kick looking for Vidovic maybe. A good thump on. Here's the danger man again, Devonport. He's first to it. A good little tap on there coming from Kickett. Around on the left side. Devonport, Bowie, Jenke. Jenke first back there in defence for the Hawks. Desperate at the moment. Bowie again gets a hand pass out. McGuinness. Things pretty tense there for Hawthorn. Harvey out in front. Will get there first. Or maybe a dead hoot there with Tony Hall, but good work by Robert Harvey to tie that up.
Well, you say he's the danger man, Bernie. Craig Devonport. It'd be a hell of a lot more dangerous if he'd put him through the middle. He's kicked 1 goal 5 this afternoon. Really, it could have been a great afternoon for him, but he has wasted too many opportunities. Dean Anderson. Poor kick off the side of the boot. Out of bounds on the full free kick to be taken by Russell Morris. Always an experienced player that get those easy free kicks, Bernie, be out in the falls.
Yes, you always run up there very quickly to take that kick, don't you, Jared? An easy stat.
Yes, he chips a kick and finds Nicky Winmar. Winmar now with 7 kicks and 3 handballs. Alex McDonald done a pretty good job on him this afternoon. Drives it forward. The back of the pack was Stewie Lowe. Devonport coming through once again. Off the ground went McCrabb. Chip kicks to himself, then handballs it on to McDonald. McDonald around the boundary line. Jarman and O'Dwyer do battle. Punched by Jarman. David Grant does well. Gets it up to Winmar. Winmar round the corner with good vision, but the kick didn't match the vision and gets it to Morrissey. Quickly on to Deer and he drives Hawthorn forward.
Looking for Dermot Burden coming from behind. Grant did well to put his body in front. Out to McAdam. You're going, son. Well tackled there by Dermot Burden. He's been gunning for McAdam. He's had a special interest there, Dermot, in Gilbert McAdam, and very slow. Actually, McAdam taking a long time to get to his feet. As we see the ball transferred into that forward pocket. And Dean Anderson taking that mark. There's Gilbert McAdam. He's in a lot of strife there after that very heavy tackle from Dermot Burden. Looks very shaky.
I just noticed that Hawthorn have changed back flanks. Scott McGuinness has come on to Devonport. And Austin McCrabb has gone over onto Brett Bowie.
Well, that was overdue too, Jared. Devonport's had plenty of the ball in his third quarter as Anderson comes in. 35 metres, slight angle. Well, pretty tight angle actually. And missing to the near side. One behind to the Hawks. So they trail 7-10-52. St Kilda 13-13-91. McAdam coming off. He looks very shaky after that heavy tackle from Dermot.
Kick out now with Daniels. Daniels over the top. Oh, well, that was terrific handball if he meant it. I think he may have. Harvey gave him the early call, obviously. Harvey to the centre of the ground. St Kilda doing it well. Straight down the middle goes Bowie, looking for the big fella in Lockett. He doesn't let him down, takes a diving chest mark. And from 45 metres out, should put through his 4th for the afternoon and his 102nd for the season.
And things tightening up at the top of the leaderboard. 2 in the goal kicking, Jared. 107 goals to Jason Dunstall. If Tony Lockett kicks this, 102. I know one of our fellow commentators will be taking a lot of interest in this. Ian Robertson.
You're saying there's some financials involved there, Bernie?
He's had a little bit of interest, an interest in Tony Lockett winning the goal kicking.
Well, once again, Tony Lockett will shoot for goal after the siren, as he did in the second quarter and did it successfully. .45 metres on a heavy ground with a heavy ball. Gets underneath it, punishes the football and kicks it straight through the middle. So at three-quarter time, St Kilda have a pretty handy lead. They lead 14-13-97 to Hawthorn, who have the job in front of them, 7-11-53. And behind play, we've got Dermot Brereton and Nicky Winmar having a bit of a go. Winmar being restrained by both the...
Start of the last quarter here at Waverley Park. The Saints in command, 44 points in front. Lawrence and Vidovic go for the ball. Bowie at the bottom of the pack, as he has been all day. And the quick kick away, marked by Mark Dwyer. He's been very good with his 3 goals also. Long kick in that forward line, looking for Stewie Lowe. Thumped away by Mew. Winmar at the bottom of the pack. Taps it out. Mew also. This could be another bounce down or a throw up, as it's been throughout most of the day by the umpire in charge there. And that is Dennis Rich.
Unbelievably, Bernie, the sunshine has come out and is warming the people on the outer side after heavy rain here on a number of occasions today. Platten gets the ball to Gowers. Platten needs to lift if Hawthorn are going to get back into this game. Jason Taylor's been brought on for his first run for Hawthorn. Probably a little bit overdue. Alan Joyce doesn't use the bench all that often. When you're that far down, I thought he might have come on a shade earlier.
Yes, well, they've been plenty of room for improvement here in this Hawthorn side. Dunstall still goalless, being held well by Danny Frawley. Loose ball here, Nathan Burke, he's been terrific all day. Jarman also. Dwyer gets to the ball first, hand passes out to half-back, Paul Deere. And the ball just trickles over that boundary line in front of Jarman and Mark Dwyer. Good defensive work by the Saints to tie the Hawks up. Jarman, terrific stats today. 8 marks, 26 kicks and 2 hand passes.
St Kilda have got a loose man in their forward line. Hawthorn are busy trying to work out who's playing on who, but at the moment it's Nicky Winmar, certainly the man you don't leave it unattended.
Pritchard getting back on him now, Jared. Vidovic looking for Winmar. Morris over the top, Sean Ralphsmith getting the hand pass, but to the wrong man. Platten on the left side. Shanahan and Dermot Brereton. Shanahan thumps it away. McAdam, who was taken from the ground in that third quarter, has recovered. Good play by Ralph Smith, getting the long hand pass out to the skipper, Frawley. Frawley will go towards the boundary line, no doubt about that. Jason Dunstall, well done to keep it in. Anderson also. Bottom of the pack, Shanahan. Tim Pekin tidies up for the Saints. Dwyer gets in the way, but the hand pass coming from Pekin. McAdam, Dwyer on the left boot. Along the members' wing, where it's very boggy there. Chris Mew in front. Taylor relieving for the Hawks, out to Jarman. He's had the ball on a string all afternoon, and eventually in the arms of Anderson.
Dean Anderson, his 5th kick for the afternoon, drives it long. Vidovic drops back, and as always today, he has repelled another Hawthorn attack. His stats are impressive: 15 kicks and 8 handballs. Great work from the big man. Gives it to Burke. Burke tries to draw a player, but decides to go with a kick. Brett Bowie comes back and takes an excellent chest mark under plenty of pressure from Andrew Collins.
Another player with great stats, Jared. 15 kicks and 18 hand passes.
Gets the ball onto Nicholas Winmar. Winmar drives it looking for Lowe. Lowe was in fringe, pulled off the ball by Stephen Lawrence, but to no avail. He said, I'll take the mark anyway and go back and have a shot at goal.
Well, the best mark in the AFL competition, Stewie Lowe. He's been up there over the last 6 seasons at the head of the stats. Second last season to Jimmy Steins, but averaging 10 marks a match. And that is fantastic from the big centre half forward, Stewie Lowe. He's taken 9 marks today, so only 1 below his norm.
This to extend the lead for St Kilda to 50 points. He pumps the ball at the big sticks. At the front of the goal square was Lawrence. In fact, at the back of the goal square, and just palms the ball through for behind. Good defence there from the ruckman from Hawthorn.
The kick in, short kick there from Langford, finding Lawrence. member side of the ground. Nothing much gained, and Lawrence taking a long time to get rid of this ball. He's called the play on. Bowie tackles and tackles well. He's caught red hot. McGuinness cleans up for the Hawks. Untidy play there though. Eventually Collins, member side of the ground. Half back for the Hawks. Paddling the ball in front of him. Pressure applied by Kickett. Play on. The umpire was going to blow the whistle. Eventually Pritchard, and well tied up by Kickett. Terrific defensive play by the St Kilda forwards to keep that ball in their attacking zone. Dennis Rich to throw the ball up. The ruck work. Oh, Lawrence didn't look at the ball and just tried to jump into Vidovic. And now the free kick's been paid against Pritchard, laying over the ball. He won't give it up. He better give it up pretty quickly or it'll be a 50-metre penalty. Umpire calling him back on the mark. Daniels going towards centre half forward. Stewie Lowe or Winmar. Neither could take it. A relieving kick there from Jarman.
Jarman pumps the ball forward for Hawthorn. Daniels couldn't take it. Anderson does. Morrissey picks it up out of the mud. He's severely tackled by Pekin, who did well. Taylor takes the ball, but he's under pressure also, and through comes Ralph Smith, who kicked a great goal in that third quarter. The Saints crowd have found some voice. Winmar bursts along the half-forward flank, looking for Lockett, and Lockett takes a mark.
Yes, and be careful, Chris Langford, because he's kicked the ball after he heard the whistle. Technically, that's a 50-metre penalty. The umpire giving him, well, I don't think there's any doubt there because Chris Langford definitely heard that whistle.
Well, he should be taking the kick for goal from the goal line, Bernie.
Yep, no doubt about that, Gerard. He'll be taking the kick now from 50 metres out. Umpire just calling him to come around slightly.
It was a great build-up of play, though. Winning the ball well through the centre. Sean Ralphsmith coming through on the burst. He's had a good game.
Yes, he was very impressive last week also. Lockett going for the short pass and finding Devonport. Pretty tight angle though, Gerard.
They'll probably kick this one after having kicked many points this afternoon. 1-5, in fact.
Yes, he's on a very tight angle, kicking from about 40 metres out, 45 metres maybe. It'd be miraculous if he kicked this one. Kick into the goal square. Well, he didn't. I don't know whether he even went for the goals in the end, Gerard, but forced over the boundary line for a throw in St Kilda's right forward pocket. And the Saints on fire. It's been a tremendous display by the Saints here at at Waverley Park.
Well, it is their home ground now also with Hawthorn. Winmar around the corner. Out on the full. Hasn't been his best day, Nicky Winmar. 11 kicks and 3 handballs. Always dangerous. Chris Mew punches that ball back. Lawrence couldn't take it. Applies a tackle to Harvey. Pritchard was scragged. Gets the ball now to Platten. And Platten goes outside along the wing looking for Anderson. But punched over the line by Gilbert McAdam.
And a very disciplined performance by the Saints here at Waverley.
And they have answered the challenge though. 2 weeks ago they were under enormous pressure, both Sheldon and the players. And they've done exactly what was required. 2 big wins. One against the West Coast, one against Hawthorn. Both played in last year's grand final. Devonport did it well. Kicks it off the ground. Only as far as Mew. Mew was scragged by Lowe. Runs into his own man there in McGuinness. The ball is stopped dead for a throw-in or a ball up on the 50-metre line for St Kilda.
Yes, well, lucky to get away with that because McGuinness, trying to do the shepherding, was getting in the way of Chris Mew.
Fairly comical in the end, Bernie.
Yes, comedy of errors. Pretty poor throw up there by the umpire too. Throwing it very close to the boundary line. Stewie Lowe doing the ruck work for the Saints. Up against Chris Mew. Lowe has taken his normal number of marks, 9 for the afternoon, as Jarman takes it from that boundary throw in. A quick kick away. McAdam recovered pretty well from that severe tackle from Dermot Burton in the third quarter. Ralph Smith through the centre of the ground, goes direct. And the man in front, terrific mark there for the Saints, and the mark's been taken by Russell Morris. Jenke over the top of him. But since half-time, it's been all one-way traffic, and now the Hawks really in the hot seat. 2 tough games coming up, Essendon and Collingwood in the next 2 weeks. Lockett on the lead, and Pekin chipping in front.
Great courage from Pekin, getting in front of Lockett.
It was. I think had not Pekin chipped in front. Jarman would have been able to chop that off, so it was the right thing to do by Tim Pekin. He doesn't kick the ball great distances. He'll be kicking from about 45 metres, the former Fitzroy player. Not a bad kick off the boot. He's kicked it, in fact, very well, but hitting the post. Terrific kick there by Tim Pekin. A good distance. His stats, 11 kicks and 5 hand passes, and look at that, 99 to St Kilda, 53 to Hawthorn. The kick in from Langford. And Gowers, he's been a quiet player. Good mark. Oof. Ordinary kick though. McGuinness able to take that sliding mark. It's pretty stop-start stuff though from the Hawks.
Well, Hawthorn haven't kicked a goal since late in the second quarter. And in this quarter, they still don't look like going forward. Dwyer keeps the ball in well. Long handball was really only to space, had no options. The ball taken over the boundary line for a throw-in on centre wing.
Well, it's been a pretty good performance by the Saints, Gerard. They led by 3 points at quarter time, 10 points at half time, and extended that lead to 44 points at three-quarter time.
And now it's 46 as Daniels bursts through. He's been in good form the last 2 weeks. Only a youngster. As Hawthorn come through, Jarman. Dunstall, well, every time they've gone forward, Dunstall, the ball's missed him by a yard to the left, a yard to the right. He hasn't had a great day. Ben Allen, and he mounts something for Hawthorn. On the left foot. McAdam sits underneath it. Platten over the back. Ralph Smith deliberately taps the ball through for behind. Good defence.
Yes, it's been a disciplined performance by the Saints.
Well, I've been impressed with Ralph Smith. I'd say it's his best game that I've ever seen him play against his old club.
Yes, he hasn't had many opportunities in 1992, but he did play very well last week against the Eagles, picking up the dangerous Carl Langdon. Frawley kicks in. Jason Taylor can't take the mark, cleaned up by Winmar. Left-hand hand pass over the top, finds Mark Dwyer. He's got plenty of room to work in. The hand pass to the running Harvey. No pressure being applied by the Hawks, but a poor kick in the end by Harvey. They had a chance to really build on that. Gowers chopping that off.
Sitting underneath it was Burr, who got infringed upon by Allen and gave the free kick away. Never backs out of any issue, Burr. Great courage. Looking for Lowe's on the lead. Mew in pursuit. Lowe couldn't pick it up. Smart kick off the ground by Mew, only as far as Devonport. Bowie was scragged. McGuinness comes up with the ball. He's under some pressure. Kick it, flips the ball. That was almost a throw. Anderson comes up with it. His kick was just thrown onto the boot. Deere, who's been quiet, gets his kick around the corner. Taylor, who's acting as a second centre-half forward for Hawthorn. Alex McDonald. Hawthorn don't appear to have any spark. Taylor once again around the corner. They need an ignition from somewhere. Ben Allen on to Anderson. Can this be a goal? From 45 metres, Ben Allen shoots a goal. But once again, he drifts across the face and only behind. Had all the makings as John the Boy Giorgio prepares to come on for his first run for the afternoon, and Dale Kickett coming off the ground for St Kilda.
Ralph Smith again taking that mark at halfback for the Saints. And again, a 50-metre penalty, the third one for the afternoon against Dermot Burton. It's good to see a physical player on that forward line, and Dermot certainly is that, but when he gives away so many 50-metre penalties and unnecessary free kicks, he really is penalising the side. Off to McAdam, look out, you're gone. Dermot late on the scene, not this time. Vidovic has had a terrific game playing in the ruck for the Saints. And a great competitor, Nicky Winmar out in front. Here's a big chance. Lockett out in front. Thank you very much. Copybook football by the Saints. And Tony Lockett has taken 7 marks for the afternoon. Started off a bit quietly in that first quarter. Kicked 3 in the second quarter, registering his 100th goal for the season in that term. And now, really, this should be a soda for him, Gerard, from about 25-30 metres out. The big fellow, Tony Lockett, closing the gap on Jason Dunstall. 107 to Dunstall. And this for number 103 for the season for Tony Lockett. He kicks. That's a goal. the Saints extend their lead, 15-15, 105. A 50-point margin there. Hawthorn 7-13, 55. And the big fellow really just finished off the good work further afield from those very good St.Kilda players. Winmar could have had a shot at goal himself, just opted for the pass. Very little Langford could do.
Yes, good play from St.Kilda. Once again the ball up. Vidovic goes early. Lawrence didn't jump at all. Winmar, who kicked it to Lockett, only a second to go, comes up with the ball. Morris gives it to Harvey, who's almost best on the ground. Harvey chips it to Bowie. Bowie's going to be run down, taken too high though, and the umpire goes to ground himself. He's struggling with the conditions, let alone the players. And it was a pretty poor tackle from Gowers, who should have really just gobbled up Bowie.
Yes, maybe advantage could have even been paid there. Giorgio, the new player on the ground, the 16-year-old from St. Bede's.
Yes, what a fine football school that's been, Bernie.
I wonder why you mentioned that, Jared. You didn't come from St. Bede's, did you?
Boy, Giorgio, chip kick, finds Harvey.
Oh, well, very predictable now, isn't it? Very predictable. Robert Harvey. Look at his stats too, Jared. Their on-ball stats have been magnificent. Coming in for kick number 18, Robert Harvey. 4 marks and 14 hand passes.
It's a tight angle. Harvey from 30 metres out gets plenty of momentum. It's a wobbling kick, but it's gone straight. Good goal to Mark Harvey. And St. Kilda career away. They now lead 16-15, 111 to Hawthorn 7-13, 55.
Yes, well, the Saints just doing it very easily at the moment. The Hawks, no answers at all. Robert Harvey has kicked 2 goals. All one-way traffic. The Hawks at the crossroads.
Yes, that was a great goal, of course, to Robert Harvey. St. Kilda appear to be winning this one out of the centre once again. Jenke repels that, however. Goes to McDonald and on to McGuinness. McGuinness with the left foot. Rel Smith underneath it. Plenty of time. Intelligent handball gives it to Dwyer, and advantage has been paid.
Yes, Mark Dwyer around the members' wing, and Devonport, who's been in everything since half-time. Kicks long into the forward line, looking for Lowe or Lockett. And Lowe, the man in front, taking the mark. A very good crowd here. Oh no, it's a shepherding free kick being paid against Tony Lockett. Langford to take the free kick and relief for the Hawks. Looking for Deer, but Vidovic. Hasn't he been a tremendous player? 11 marks to Vidovic, 16 kicks. No, another shepherding free kick awarded to be taken by Deer. The crowd not too happy about those 2 free kicks. Jenke, centre of the ground, around the corner, a very sloppy kick. Harvey chops it off. Lawrence just gets his hand to that kick. Morris to Grant. The other side of the ground now, Mickey Dwyer is over in front of the members about 5 seconds ago. Around the corner looking for Giorgio, and a great tumbling mark by Giorgio. A good crowd here too, Jared, 43,132.
Yes, the fans really turning out as Robert Harvey takes a great mark, comes onto his right foot, chips the ball to Lockett, and Lockett takes another kick from Harvey. And almost every time that Harvey gets the ball on that forward line, you know who's going to bob up with it, and that's one Tony Lockett.
Well, he doesn't waste the ball, does he, Robert Harvey? But look at that scoreline for the Hawks. It's a really sad and sorry sight. 7-13. They were 7-6 at half-time. So only 7 behinds in the second half for the Hawks. And we're at the 18-minute mark of the final quarter. Tony Lockett coming in for goal number 6. From about 35 metres out. Maybe 40 metres out, that kick. Straight through the middle, another goal to the Saints. So St. Kilda careering away, 17-15, 117. Lead Hawthorn, 7-13, 55. Tony Lockett, 6 goals for the afternoon, takes his year's tally to 104.
Getting pretty dark here at Waverley Park as Hayden Kennedy throws the ball up. Robert Harvey once again on the bottom of the pack. Well, I'm glad you're giving the votes today, Bernie, because it'd be pretty difficult to split between Vidovic, Bowie, Harvey, perhaps Jarman, who's faded a little bit.
Yes, it's a tough job, but the on-ball players for St Kilda have been magnificent.
Well, that was their perceived weakness before this game. Harvey comes into the centre of the ground and certainly has turned that around. And particularly when you consider that Winmar's been a little bit quiet, St Kilda have done exceptionally well. They've played 2 games at Waverley since they declared it their home ground, starting in '93, and have won them both. Burke off the ground. Dwyer off the ground. This will be good for his statistics as he gets another one straight off the ground and over the boundary line.
He's been a very good player, actually, Mark Dwyer. 5 marks, 16 kicks, and 8 hand passes. But interesting, Jared, listening to the Hawthorn president at the luncheon, he said ever since it's been announced that St Kilda would use this ground as their home base, it hasn't stopped raining, just in readiness for next season.
Well, she's raining goals for St Kilda at the present time. And Devonport, who can't get one through the middle, drops what he should have taken. McGuinness, good handball to Platten. Butters up for the 1-2. On to Jarman, who's coming up for his 33rd possession. But he had 20 at half-time, so he's been a bit quiet in the second half. Dunstall cops a heavy one from Shanahan. And appeals for holding the ball on Frawley. And Dunstall is yet to kick a goal.
Yes, he only kicked 1 last week and 2 the previous week against Carlton. 1 against North Melbourne, 2 against Carlton. And really in danger of not kicking a goal this afternoon. Around the corner, Platten up very high and over the boundary line. Out of bounds on the full. And very little happening for the Hawks. Gilbert McAdam to take the free kick in the left back pocket for the Saints. Nothing to kick to, no movement further afield. He goes long and in front, Grant. And that's where they've been all day, the St Kilda players. David Grant, an excellent mark in front of Burton and Paul Deere. The player clear in the centre of the ground there is Harvey, and he should take that chest mark. He does. On quickly looking for Dwyer, in a bit of trouble there. Off the ground. Coming in is Daniels and Pritchard. Harvey again, he's been in everything. Off the deck, Sean Ralphsmith. Back to Dwyer. He's got plenty of room to work in. A little bit wide there for Lockett. He was held up, well spoiled by Langford. Bowie too high on him. The umpire spotted it. And a free kick to Brett Bowie as St Kilda make a change. Harvey off. And having his first run for the afternoon is Adrian Fletcher. But what a performance by the Saints. Have they worked tirelessly.
Harvey.
Yeah, Harvey also. Standing ovation for Harvey. His stats magnificent. 7 marks, 19 kicks, 15 hand passes. As you said, Jared, he rarely wastes a possession. But Bowie to take this kick. A pretty tight angle from about 35 metres out. The kicks looks pretty good off the boot. It'll go close. It's a goal to the Saints. Another one. They're romping away.
Yes, what a game Brett Bowie's played here this afternoon. 18 kicks, 21 handballs. He's just kicked his first goal, and he'll be a happy man tonight. 40 metres out, I didn't think he'd make the distance, the little fellow, but he's got underneath it. Hawthorn didn't have too many tools down there in that on the goal line, and it just drifted through for a marvellous goal to the young Bowie.
68 points of margin. St Kilda doing it very easily. Taken by Anderson out of that centre square. McAdam in front. St Kilda has been in front all afternoon, their players. Chips it up in front of Grant, a courageous mark. Ben Allen applying the pressure. St Kilda, they've had winners all over the ground. A magnificent performance. Very loose there. Fletcher just cannot take the mark. He's tackled pretty ferociously there by the Hawks. McDonald gets a tap on. Jarman. Hawthorn's best player by a mile to Deere. Out to Anderson. Long kick into the forward line.
Yes, looking for Dunstall, who once again the ball doesn't do him any favours. He's had a shocking afternoon, never had one bounce sit for him at all. As Danny Frawley comes up with the ball, gets it on to Ralphsmith. Long sweeping handball to Daniels, gives it to the skipper who's now on the wing, playing at full back and enjoying himself. Daniels comes up with another possession, kicks the ball forward looking for Morris. And Morris has also had a good game for St Kilda today. Takes a nice chest mark.
This, Jared, would be the worst drubbing the Hawks had suffered since that first round clash against Adelaide over at Football Park in 1991. And well, really, they are at the crossroads at the moment.
Yes, they recovered from that one to win the premiership. They may not get a chance this time. Giorgio with the body. The young 16-year-old really showed Gowers how to position yourself there.
Well, he's probably a little bit stiff to be out of this side, Giorgio, because last week he played on the half-back flank, and I thought he played a terrific game against the West Coast Eagles.
And to think this boy could have played Teal Cup for Victoria.
Well, for another couple of years he could have, I suppose, Jared. 16 years of age.
He's an outstanding young talent. In Form 6 at St. Bede's College. It's amazing that a player that young could be playing such good football. From 35 metres out, Boy Giorgio. Straight through the middle for another goal to St. Kilda.
Yes, well, fantastic performance, as I said, by the Saints. It's been one-way traffic since half-time. 10 points the margin at half-time. St. Kilda really have gone on with the job. Just over 3 minutes remaining on the clock. Giorgio kicking that goal for the Saints. Vidovic against Lawrence. Both jumping early. Not a decisive knockdown. Anderson well tackled. There's Winmar there applying that tackle.
Well, Bernie, you'd have to go way back in the record books to find a game of football where Hawthorn haven't kicked a goal in the second half.
Sure would, Jared. It's been a terrific defensive game also by the Saints. That's what they'll be working at the moment, trying to make sure that the Hawks don't kick a goal in the second half. Mickey Dwyer, terrific game by him. Looking for Stewie Lowe. Can't take his 10th mark for the afternoon. Collins off the ground. Straight back to Mickey Dwyer. Away he goes. Around Pritchard. Bork's lovely. A long kick into that forward line. And Devonport nearly. Bowie at the bottom of the pack. Almost a free kick. I think the umpire will come in and throw this one up. About 40 metres from the Saints' goal. Devonport has been terrific since half-time. Has worked tirelessly. Had McCrabb moved off him.
Free kicks are 36 to 26, St. Kilda's favour. Although I think the umpires have done a pretty good job today in difficult circumstances. Winmar over the ball. Trapped. Umpire plays advantage as Anderson comes up with it. Looking for Taylor. It's too long for him. At the back of the pack is Lazar Vidovic. He gets the handball away. Well, he hasn't been lazy today. He's been in sensational form. Jason Taylor round the corner. Platten at the front. Ball eludes him. And out comes Ralph Smith, who's been superb across half-back for the Saints. That, in fact, was Shanahan. Fletcher now. On to Burke. Burke with the head protector. Straight down the middle, looking for Devonport, who slides into home base and takes a good chest mark. Lowe says, move the ball on quickly, and that he does. Gowers nearly should have taken that. Lockett round the corner. Umpire signals, though, only one behind.
That's 6 goals, 2 to Tony Lockett. And really closing in on Jason Dunstall. 104 goals Lockett. Jason Dunstall yet to kick a goal this afternoon, 107. Langford brings the ball back into play. A long kick, slightly out to the outer side of the ground. Lawrence hasn't had a great afternoon. Allen off the ground. Around the outer side of the ground it goes. Deere gets a hand pass away. Ineffective. Daniels at the bottom of the pack. Another ineffective hand pass. Jarman, Hawthorn's best player, looking for this time Dermot Brereton, but Shanahan once again in front and taking a very strong defensive mark.
Yes, the percentage is going to play a fair part in the final analysis of the positions of the final 6. And the way Hawthorn are scoring at the moment, they really aren't doing themselves any justice. Oh, a tough decision, umpire. It's only impeded for a split second. Ralph Smith did get that handball away, I thought. Morrissey plays on quickly. What's going on here, umpire?
Well, he must go back behind the mark, Jared.
Fair enough. Onto the left foot. Looking for Platten. Platten keeps the ball in. Round the corner he goes. 13 kicks and 6 handballs to John Platten. As Frawley sees the ball over the boundary line.
Siren about to go here at Waverley Park. There it is. It's all over. It may be all over for the Hawks for the season. As we look at that scoreboard, a resounding victory to the Saints. 19-16, 130. And look at that very sorry sight for the Hawthorn side, 7-13, 55. So a 75-point victory here at Waverley Park. Tony Lockett congratulated on kicking his 100th goal for the season. Devonport also. Giorgio, a magnificent team performance by the Saints. And really, they deserve to be playing in the finals. Well, I don't know about the Hawks. A very ordinary performance by them. But well-deserved victory. A few cuddles there for Winmar and Lockett. The final scores here at Waverley, 19-16, 130 to the Saints, 7-13, 55 Hawthorn.
We're calling Rod McDonald.